How unfortunate. Han Ju sighed. How unfortunate. Han Ju sighed. What else could he say when Fairy Shi Xian mentioned this? Fairy Shi Xian stared at him and asked, Senior Guan said that he happened to encounter Huang Jihao coming out of the Jade Pure sect. A forest near the sect was destroyed. It's suspected to be some kind of sword chi. Did Huang Jihao want to challenge our Jade Pure sect but was repelled by you? Han Ju nodded and said, yes. Fairy Shi Xian sighed. I didn't expect the famous Huang Jihao to be defeated by a junior like you. Han Ju gestured for her to sit down. Fairy Shi Xian sat on a nearby chair and continued, I came to find you because I hope that you can help me suppress Senior Guan. Suppress Guan Yugang? Han Ju was confused. Sect Master might not be as powerful as Senior Guan, but he has done his best for the sect. For the Jade Pure sect's sake, he even delayed his cultivation. It would be a pity to take him down from the position of sect master. Besides, this Senior Guan of mine is only seeking revenge and not really considering the sect. When his injuries are healed, I'll let him challenge you first. If he can defeat you, he can become sect master. How about it? Fairy Shi Xian said softly, her tone and gaze unchanged. Han Ju hesitated and said, yes, but it's best to quietly carry out this battle. If it's spread in the sect, it will definitely spread in the cultivation world. I don't want to be in the limelight too much. Otherwise, it will attract endless trouble. Previously, I helped the Jade Pure sect deal with the viridescent nether cult and made a name for myself. This is also why Huang Jihao came. Of course. This will save Senior Guan some face. Han Ju nodded. Fairy Shi Xian suddenly looked at the black hell chicken in the corner and asked in surprise, how did you raise this chicken? It looks extraordinary. The black hell chicken raised its head and snorted. I'm a phoenix. Master told me that I will become a phoenix sooner or later. Fairy Shi Xian smiled. A chicken wanted to become a phoenix. I got it from a farmer from the sect. It's quite boring to cultivate normally. It's not bad to have company, Han Ju explained with a smile. He said nothing about the black hell chicken's origins. Even if he did, who would believe him? The difference between a chicken and a phoenix was like that between a snake and a dragon. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. Fairy Shi Xian looked at him again and said, the immortal domain meeting that happens once every 100 years is about to begin. I have the immortal domain token and can give it to you. This meeting is a rare event, you can obtain all the equipment, pills, treasures, and even cultivation techniques you want there, as long as you have enough resources. Immortal domain meeting. It sounded very impressive and lively. If this was in a novel, it would definitely be a grand occasion for the protagonist to show off. If he wasn't careful, he might gain new enemies. He couldn't go. Han Ju refused politely. Thank you for your kind intentions, Master. I just want to enter seclusion. With my potential, I don't need to go out and take risks for the time being. Fairy Shi Xian nodded. She then stood up and left. Han Ju stood up to send her off. After Fairy Shi Xian left, he returned to the bed and started cultivating. Immortal Domain Meeting, TSK, when I reach the Mahayana realm, I can go take a look. Han Ju thought silently as he circulated his chi. The Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. As a righteous sect in the cultivation world of the Great Yen Dynasty, there were nearly 10,000 disciples in the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. Most of them cultivated in the way of the sword. The strongest sword cultivators in the Great Yen Dynasty were all from the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect. Within the sect master's chambers, Huang Jihao sat on a mat, his expression extremely ugly. Seated at the head of the table was the sect master of the Vermilion Bird Sword Sect, Tang Han. Tang Han looked to be in his 30s or 40s. He was also considered handsome. Under his sharp brows, his eyes were sharp. A sword floated on both sides of him. He also exuded an extremely sharp aura. You couldn't even take a single strike from him? Tang Han asked with a frown. Huang Jihao gritted his teeth. Although I don't want to admit it, it's true. His spirit energy is extremely overbearing. This is the first time I've encountered such spirit energy. It's not a common attribute, nor is it a rare spirit root. I can't say for sure. Recalling the scene when he faced the heavenly punishment ghost deity sword, he couldn't help but shiver. Also what? This person is extremely good-looking. In terms of looks, no one in our Vermilion Bird Sword sect can compare to him. Is that important? Well, not that important. Huang Jihao sighed. For some reason, there was a hint of pity in his tone. Tang Han frowned. He didn't expect the Jade Pure sect to have such a figure. In the outside world, Huang Jihao represented the highest combat power of the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. Although he felt that he was stronger than Huang Jihao, he was not that much stronger. Huang Jihao continued, that's right, the Raincoat sect has appeared and is still targeting the Jade Pure sect. After I recover, I plan to challenge them. Tang Han nodded and said, although the Raincoat sect started to decline 1,000 years ago, its foundation can't be underestimated. Previously, the great grand elder of the Jade Pure sect came to me, hoping that the righteous path would join forces to fight against the Raincoat sect. I didn't agree. If that person doesn't die, the Raincoat sect can't perish. Who is that person? The leader of the Raincoat sect. This person was like you when he was young. He was high-spirited and by chance, he fell into the demonic path and became the leader of the Raincoat sect. I heard from Grandmaster that, in his generation, the leader of the Raincoat sect was the strongest. This time, you can test his strength, but don't be reckless. If you can't defeat him, quickly retreat. Don't worry. I may be arrogant, but I'm not stupid. Of course. 7 years passed quickly after Fairy Shi Xian visited him. Han Ju's cultivation level had reached the 7th level of the nascent soul realm, and he was already chasing after the 8th. For more, visit Light Novel World. Besides training, Han Ju had been paying attention to other people's situations through the interpersonal relationships function in emails. After Yang Tiandong and Zhou Fan were caught by the Raincoat sect, their cultivation levels increased. In the past few years, they had not been attacked by the Raincoat Saint either. It seemed like they had given in. However, their identities didn't become disciples of the Raincoat sect. Han Ju guessed that they were only pretending to give in. Li Qingzi, on the other hand, was frequently attacked by the Raincoat sect and was frequently injured. This sect master was really working too hard. For the sake of his disciples, he had been running around everywhere. He was injured all the time and would continue to be injured when he recovered. In addition, Guan Yugang had never come to find Han Ju. Han Ju could understand. Even Huang Jihao was no match for him. How could this fellow dare to challenge him? It was worth mentioning that the Black Hell Chicken had grown faster and faster recently. Its strength was already equivalent to an 8th-level Qi Refinement Realm cultivator. Not to mention a chicken, even if it was a cultivator, very few could achieve this speed. The more it grew, the more curious it became about the outside world. Han Ju had to brainwash it. It's very dangerous outside. Many people want to eat you. You must be invincible before you can leave. Otherwise, you will definitely die. Even I, your master, don't dare to leave either. As time passed, the Black Hell Chicken no longer dared to think about leaving. It only wanted to cultivate. One fine day, Li Qingzi visited again. Han Ju noticed that his aura was weak and his expression was not good. It seemed that he was seriously injured this time. Li Qingzi gritted his teeth and said, something terrible has happened. Maple Leaf Valley has been destroyed by the Raincoat sect. The next target is most likely our Jade Pure sect. Before Maple Leaf Valley's sect master passed away, he sent a message to me. He said that there are 10 soul formation cultivators in the Raincoat sect, and they are enough to sweep through the cultivation world of the Great Yen dynasty. The source of this content is Light Novel World. When Hanju heard that, he asked, then, why aren't we running? Li Qingzi was stunned. Why aren't we running? Is this something you should say? Li Qingzi roared in his heart. Why aren't we running? Is this something you should say? Li Qingzi roared in his heart. The reason why he came to find Hanju was to let him know so that he could prepare. He didn't expect Hanju to want to leave directly. Li Qingzi said gloomily, where can we escape to? There are so many disciples. Even if we escape, we have to escape from the Great Yen cultivation world. However, if we go to other cultivation worlds, those sects will definitely not let us have a foothold and will only swallow us. The Jade Pure sect will still perish. Hanju frowned. He wanted to say that it was fine if the Jade Pure sect perished, as long as they were still alive. The Jade Pure sect is in danger of being annihilated. You have the following choices. 1. Immediately run away. You will be hunted down by the Raincoat sect as you wander the world. You can obtain equipment. 2. Protect the sect. People only live once, you cannot retreat forever. After defeating the Raincoat sect, you can obtain a numinous treasure, a sword technique manual, and an egg of a divine beast of providence. Hanju didn't make a decision immediately but thought carefully. Even if he escaped, where could he run to? After exterminating the Jade Pure sect, the Raincoat sect would definitely continue to attack and sweep through the cultivation world of the Great Yen dynasty unless they joined them. Join if he couldn't win. This was no longer keeping a low profile, it was cowardice. Why don't we wait and see? If we can't beat him, we can still escape. He wore the golden cicada's mystic divine robe and held the burning fiend bell. With the wind god technique, how could he not escape? Hanju asked, when will the Raincoat sect come? 10 years at most. It will take them time to clean up the mess in Maple Leaf Valley. Hanju sighed and said, Sect Master, why is our Jade Pure sect being targeted one after another? I thought that our sect was very strong. Li Qingzi was embarrassed and blushed. He gritted his teeth and said, the Jade Pure sect is indeed powerful, but the strongest one, who is also the founding ancestor, went to search for the path of becoming a land deity. He left for 500 years without any news. If he was here, how would they dare to attack us? 1,000 years ago, in the final battle against the Raincoat sect, the founding ancestor was the greatest contributor. Hanju raised his eyebrows. In other words, the Raincoat sect is seeking revenge? Li Qingzi nodded helplessly. To mortals, 1,000 years was extremely long, but in the cultivation world, it was not. Especially to a sect, Li Qingzi was the third-generation sect master of the Jade Pure sect and his master, the Great-Grand Elder, was the second. The founder left behind a treasure to contact him. The Great-Grand Elder and I have already used it. I wonder if the founder can sense it. If he can return, the Raincoat sect will be nothing to worry about. At that time, we will definitely become the strongest sect in the Great Yen cultivation world. Elder Han, we have to grit our teeth and endure this. As long as we can endure it, we won't have any threats in the future. You can cultivate in peace. The founder might even be able to teach you the cultivation techniques from the land of immortals. Visit Light Novel World. For the best novel reading experience. Li Qingzi grabbed his hand and said in a serious tone. Hanju almost had goosebumps. He quickly pulled his hand back and sighed. Alright, I'll face the Raincoat sect with you. But let me say this first. If I can't win, I can only run. Li Qingzi nodded solemnly and said, if we really can't win, I won't let you die with us. The two of them chatted for a while more before Li Qingzi left. Han Ju wanted to ask him to take some pills to help him increase his cultivation, but Li Qingzi awkwardly said that the Jade Pure sect did not have any pills suitable for nascent soul realm cultivation. The Jade Pure sect lacked alchemists. Han Ju turned to look at the black hell chicken and said, "Do you see? It's really dangerous. Even if we don't cause trouble, there are enemies who want to kill us everywhere." The black hell chicken nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. "Master, are you confident?" "No." "Ah. Shall we run quietly?" "Not bad, you've already received my teachings." "Really?" "We'll wait for a while." That day, Han Ju came to the inner sect and bought a beast-taming bag. It was convenient to bring the black hell chicken along like this. After leaving the pavilion, just as he was about to return, a line of words suddenly appeared before his eyes. Detected bearer of Khanate Providence, checking its origin. Another bearer of Khanate Providence. The Jade Pure sect was truly a Providence magnet. Han Ju immediately chose to check. Xian Qingjun, third level of the Foundation Establishment realm. Her true identity is the Demon Lord's mortal body. She was born with an innate Tao heart and is extremely talented. 800 years ago, the Demon Lord wanted to surpass the Tao and ascend. Therefore, she created a mortal body. The main body is sealed in the depths of the essence soul. The mortal body travels the world and experiences the various aspects of life, consolidating the Tao heart. There are traces of her everywhere in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. 3 years ago, she joined the Jade Pure sect and has been hiding there since. Demon Lord. That was impressive. She had an innate Tao heart even as a demon. What kind of reverse cliché was this? Han Ju was speechless. He followed the system's instructions and saw Xian Qingjun. This woman wore the Taoist robe of the Jade Pure sect. Her figure was average and she was not outstandingly beautiful from the back. When she turned her head, Han Ju assessed her. Her looks were average. She was a very ordinary female disciple. If one scanned the streets, they would easily pass her by without noticing her. Xian Qingjun stood by the street, watching people argue. 2 male disciples fought over a beautiful female disciple. Should I seduce the Demon Lord? She's about to ascend and is at least a Mahayana cultivator. Han Ju thought silently. Then, he shook his head. Forget it. He wanted to avoid trouble. Han Ju turned around and left. At this time, he didn't notice Xian Qingjun glancing at him. Xian Qingjun has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 1 star. Han Ju paused, his face full of question marks. What the hell? He turned around and met Xian Qingjun's gaze. Crap. The Demon Lord was paying attention to him. Han Ju panicked for some reason and smiled politely at her. Xian Qingjun's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 2 stars, Han Ju hurriedly left. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience. Xian Qingjun turned around and followed him. After leaving the inner sect city, Han Ju immediately used the Wind God technique and returned quickly. After returning to the Khanate cave abode, Han Ju sat on the bed in a panic. I hope she just thinks I'm pretty and doesn't really have her eyes on me. Han Ju thought silently. He wasn't stupid. Even if Xian Qingjun liked him, he wouldn't have a better life. After all, she was the Demon Lord. How many years had she been roaming the mortal world? How could she fall in love with someone at first sight and give up everything? If Han Ju tried to please her, there would only be one outcome. Slavery. Xian Qingjun came to the cave abode and saw the words on the mountain wall. Endure today, freedom tomorrow. She tried not to laugh. This kid is interesting. Xian Qingjun smiled. But then, her expression suddenly turned serious. These words make sense. Xian Qingjun thought for a moment and left. After she left, Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. I hope she'll give up the desire for me, Hanju muttered to himself. The black hell chicken asked, what desire? Hanju said angrily, my desire to eat you. Ah! That woman wanted to eat you, master. In other words, was that woman stronger than Hanju? Hanju had a strange expression and said, in a sense, yes. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm. Because of the pressure brought by the Raincoat sect, Hanju cultivated even harder. Because of the pressure brought by the Raincoat sect, Hanju cultivated even harder. The black hell chicken could only suffer in silence. As Hanju tried his best to absorb qi, the spirit qi in the cave abode surged into his body. The speed at which the black hell chicken drew in spirit qi was suppressed. 7 years later, Hanju finally broke through to the 8th level of the nascent soul realm. He still felt that time was tight. If he could break through to the soul formation realm before the Raincoat sect attacked, he would be even more confident. Hanju absorbed qi while checking his interpersonal relationships. Your friend Zhou Fan was attacked by the Raincoat sect, X87, your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by the Raincoat sect, X87, your good friend Mo Zhu was attacked by a fellow disciple. Your good friend Li Qingzi was attacked by a fellow sect member and was severely injured. Why was Li Qingzi attacked by a fellow sect member? Hanju was stunned. Was there another spy? He immediately checked the Jade Pure sect. Nascent soul realm cultivators were not spies. Wait. Could it be Guan Yugang? Hanju was right. It was Guan Yugang. Guan Yugang didn't dare to challenge the deity-slaying elder, so he gave up on becoming the sect master. However, he couldn't take it lying down, so he looked for Li Qingzi to spar and took the opportunity to vent. The elders of the sect were extremely displeased with him due to this. The Jade Pure sect was in danger now, but he was still causing trouble. Did he still want to be the sect master in such circumstances? After Guan Yugang was scolded, he went into seclusion in anger and no longer showed himself. However, he didn't leave the sect. He obviously had the Jade Pure sect in his heart. Hanju didn't know any of this. He continued to read the emails. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Kong Fairy Shi Xian, Chang Yuer, and Xing Hongxian were all fine. The other good friends were more or less fighting with others, including Xian Qingjun. Xian Qingjun's cultivation was still at the 3rd level of the Foundation Establishment realm. Hanju suspected that she didn't cultivate at all and only observed others. When Hanju was thinking to himself, he suddenly sensed a presence. Xian Qingjun. This woman was here again. Is fellow Taoist here? Can I pay you a visit? Hearing Xian Qingjun's voice, Hanju became nervous. He thought about it. The other party definitely knew that he was here. If he pretended to be out, the favorability might be gone. The other party was the Demon Lord. Her favorability was definitely better than hatred. After thinking, Hanju opened the cave abode's stone door. Xian Qingjun walked over. She couldn't help but smile when she saw him. Hanju was helpless. The black hell chicken still remembered Xian Qingjun's aura. It screamed in terror, please. Don't eat my master. Xian Qingjun was confused. Hanju felt a little awkward. He glared at the black hell chicken, who dared not speak again. She walked in front of Hanju and said with a smile, I'm a disciple of Jade Bamboo Peak, Xian Qingjun. I met you in the inner sect a few years ago and was shocked. From then on, your figure was buried in my heart. I came to visit you rashly this time. I hope that you won't blame me. How direct. Hanju felt awkward and didn't know how to reply. Senior's handsomeness is truly rare in this world, you're simply unparalleled. Junior is willing to offer a treasure. I hope that senior brother won't reject me. Xian Qingjun smiled. With a flip of her hand, a jade piece appeared. Hanju asked curiously, what is this? This is the Heavenly Immortal Abode token. The Heavenly Immortal Abode is the cultivation holy land of the cultivation world. Only by obtaining the Heavenly Immortal Abode token can one cultivate there. Once there, one can reach the nascent soul realm at the very least. Xian Qingjun smiled and explained. She snorted in her heart. I don't believe you won't be tempted. Brat, I want you simply due to your good looks. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. Hanju shook his head and said, thank you for your kind intentions, Junior. It's just that I don't want to leave the Jade Pure sect. I plan to cultivate in the sect forever. Xian Qingjun froze on the spot. She changed treasures again and said, this is the Earth Spirit Sword. It can easily kill Golden Core Realm experts. Not enough. I'll give you another bottle of pills to break through to the Golden Core Realm. I'll give you another body tempering cultivation technique. I'll add 3 more spell techniques. Damn. She was really rich. If it was 100 years ago, Hanju definitely wouldn't have been able to resist. He really didn't want to work hard anymore. Hanju hesitated for a moment and said, actually, I'm already at the nascent soul realm. He no longer hit his cultivation level. He revealed his 8th level nascent soul realm cultivation level and then hit it again. Xian Qingjun was shocked. She instantly guessed the truth and asked, you are the deity-slaying elder? Hanju nodded. The other party was the Demon Lord. Since she had targeted him, she would definitely not let this matter rest. Xian Qingjun was even more delighted. She had not expected that her judgment would be so good that she would directly capture the most mysterious and powerful deity-slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect. Xian Qingjun's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 4 stars. She took out another bottle of pills from her sleeve and said, this is a first-grade nascent soul pill. It can help you increase your cultivation speed. Is 1 bottle enough? If not, I'll give you another. As she spoke, she took out another bottle of nascent soul pills. This time, Hanju really couldn't take it anymore. He carefully asked, Junior, what's your background? Xian Qingjun finally realized that she had been exposed. But it didn't matter now. My identity isn't important. I want to become Dao companions with you. I wonder if senior brother is willing. Xian Qingjun asked with a smile. Hanju frowned and asked, since you can take out so many treasures, you must be extraordinary. Can you help us deal with the Raincoat sect? If the Demon Lord took action, then it would be safe. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. Xian Qingjun shook her head. No, I only care about you and not the Jade Pure sect. Could it be that you cultivate for the sect? Hanju remained silent. Indeed. It was not so easy to command the Demon Lord. But these 2 bottles of nascent soul pills were very fragrant. It was very difficult for him to reject them. If I promise you, what price will I pay? Hanju asked cautiously. Xian Qingjun covered her mouth and laughed. I won't eat you. We'll cultivate together. You'll only become stronger. That's great news for you. Xian Qingjun wants to become your Dao companion. You have the following choices. 1. Reject. How can we male cultivators be threatened by a woman? You will obtain the Demon Lord's hatred and a Sword Dao mystical power inheritance. 2. Accept. The 2 of you will become Dao companions. You will be affected by karma and providence. You will be able to obtain the favor of the Demon Lord and obtain a mystical power inheritance. What would happen if you rejected Xian Qingjun? Would the Demon Lord show up? That was a big shot who was about to ascend. Han Ju sighed in his heart and said, "In that case, I will become Dao companions with you." You have successfully become Xian Qingjuan's Dao companion. You have obtained a mystical power inheritance. Congratulations on obtaining mystical power, somersault cloud, movement mystical power. One somersault can travel 100,000 miles. Xian Qingjuan's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 5 stars, somersault cloud. Amazing. Han Ju's eyes lit up. This was a godly escape technique. If the demon lord acted recklessly at this time, he would immediately do a somersault and escape for 100,000 miles. Xian Qingjun smiled and put down the 2 bottles of nascent soul pills in her hand. From now on, you're my cultivation partner. Cultivate well. I'll come to you when I need you. With that, she turned and left. Han Ju couldn't help but ask, other than me, do you have any other Dao companion? Xian Qingjun paused and snorted. How can that be? I don't like mortals. If not for the fact that I needed a companion and that you were extremely handsome, I wouldn't have chosen you. She quickly left. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Calm Hanli looked at the 2 bottles of nascent soul pills beside his bed in despair and remained silent for a long time. The black hell chicken asked timidly, Master, will she still eat you? After Xian Qingjun left, Han Ju opened 1 bottle. There were 12 pills in each bottle. After Xian Qingjun left, Han Ju opened 1 bottle. There were 12 pills in each bottle. He first used the 6 paths spirit energy to test it. After confirming that it was not poison, he started to take it. Soon, he was pleasantly surprised to find that the effect was very strong. It was more than twice as powerful as Yi Sanlang's pill. As expected of the demon lord, she was generous. Han Ju held back his surprise and started cultivating. In a dark underground palace. Pa! 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 The sound of the whip striking flesh could be heard. Yang Tiandong and Zhou Fan were tied to wooden stakes. 2 raincoat sect members lashed out with their whips, causing blood to splatter all over the ground. Many cultivators who were cultivating in the distance could not bear to watch. Sigh, these 2 from the Jade Pure sect are really stubborn. Yes. Every year, they have to run away and get beaten up. Yet, they don't give up. How pitiful. Why didn't the sect kill them? If we kill them, how will we win their hearts? Actually, it is a good idea to join the Raincoat sect. The cultivators discussed. After a while, Yang Tiandong and Zhou Fan were put down. One had the demon saint's bloodline. The other was the reincarnation of a Mahayana cultivator. At this moment, both of them were gasping for breath. The whips of the Raincoat sect members were not ordinary. They were made from the tendons of some kind of demonic beast. When it struck his body, it was as if a piece of flesh had been torn off by a rake. It was extremely painful. Yang Tiandong lay on the ground and gritted his teeth. This is your plan. We were caught before we even got out. Zhou Fan was extremely aggrieved. His eyes were filled with tears. How many years had it been? They failed to escape every time. Damn it. If I succeed in the future, I will definitely make your sect suffer. Let's stop struggling and wait for Master to come. Yang Tiandong sighed. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm Master, Master. Why aren't you here yet? 10 years ago, Li Qingzi came and wanted to save them but failed. However, before he left, Li Qingzi sent a voice transmission to him, telling him that Han Ju would come sooner or later and asked him to help stabilize the hearts of the other disciples. It was these words that made Yang Tiandong persist. Zhou Fan said angrily, "Your master is so timid, it's impossible for him to come." He already knew that Han Ju was the deity-slaying elder. Although he was shocked, he understood his personality. This person's talent was indeed terrifying, but he was too afraid of death. A person who was so afraid of death would not save them. If he wanted to, he would have saved them already. Yang Tiandong gritted his teeth and said, "Don't worry, my master will definitely come. He might be secretly watching to see if I can endure this and if my Tao heart is stable enough." Zhou Fan rolled his eyes. He felt that this kid had gone mad. Sigh. Not only him, even Zhou Fan himself could not hold on much longer. 2 years later, Han Ju forcefully broke through to the 9th level of the nascent soul realm. It had to be said that the Demon Lord's pills were very useful. He had to think of a way to ask for more in the future. At first, Han Ju was worried that Xian Qingjun would look for him often, but he was just dreaming. It seemed that Xian Qingjun was not greedy for his physical body. She had become his companion so that she could use him as her Demon Lord self in the future. Han Ju didn't dare to trust her completely. Before that, he had to become as strong as possible. What if Xian Qingjun wanted to squeeze him dry? 5 stars of favorability did not mean that Xian Qingjun would not harm him. How many people were killed for love? In his previous life, foreign movies often promoted this spirit, especially those superhero movies. Han Ju began to inherit the somersault cloud mystical power. The somersault cloud's movement distance was related to the spiritual power infused into it. It did not have a fixed distance to travel. After the inheritance succeeded, he would then test it using the strongest person in the Jade Pure sect. The strongest was Guan Yugang, who was at the 2nd level of the soul formation realm. Han Ju continued to search for nascent soul realm cultivators. He heaved a sigh of relief when he didn't find anyone from the Raincoat sect. There was still time. He could continue cultivating and strive to break through to the soul formation realm as soon as possible. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Han Ju perked up and continued absorbing qi. A month later, Li Qingzi came to find him. Han Ju frowned and asked, "Is the Raincoat sect here?" He was already close to the soul formation realm, but the enemy came at this time. How annoying. That's not the case. Huang Jihao of the Vermilion Bird Sword sect ambushed the Raincoat sect and ended up being captured by them. The Vermilion Bird Sword sect is furious and wants to join forces with us to attack them. The situation has turned around. Li Qingzi became more and more excited. He really loved Huang Jihao now. This guy really knew how to cause trouble. He had done the right thing this time. Han Ju raised his eyebrows. "Not bad, my little Huang. Then all of you can go. Call Elder Guan over. I'll guard the Jade Pure sect. You can even mobilize all the nascent soul experts." "I alone am enough," Han Ju said seriously. Li Qingzi's face twitched. "You're really low profile." Han Ju said in a low voice, "I'm about to break through to the soul formation realm. I need time." Hearing that, Li Qingzi's body shook and he was overjoyed. Han Ju could slay a soul formation realm cultivator at the nascent soul realm. When he broke through to the soul formation realm, wouldn't that mean? He dared not imagine. Li Qingzi said excitedly, "All right. You can stay here and break through. Leave this matter to us. Other than the Vermilion Bird Sword sect, other sects should join forces with us. Then, I wish Sect Master success." The two of them did not chat for long before Li Qingzi left excitedly. Before leaving, he played with the Black Hell Chicken. Annoyed, the Black Hell Chicken took advantage of the moment when he turned to peck his ass. Li Qingzi was furious. However, after sensing Han Ju's gaze, he quickly left. Han Ju shook his head and laughed. "This cockroach is just like a child." Cockroach was the nickname he had given Li Qingzi. He simply could not be killed. Half a year later, Li Qingzi and Guan Yugang left the Jade Pure sect with a dozen nascent soul elders, core disciples, and elite disciples. This matter caused a huge commotion in the inner sect. Everyone knew that something big was about to happen in the cultivation world. On the other hand, Han Ju came to the pet beast pavilion, took out his elder token, and entered the 10,000 demon realm. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. He planned on transcending the tribulation there. The soul formation tribulation would cause too much commotion and could easily level a mountain. He didn't want to destroy his Khanate cave abode, so he thought of the 10,000 demon realm. Before coming, he had asked Fairy Shi Xian and she had suggested that he come to the 10,000 demon realm. If he were to face tribulation outside the sect, it would be troublesome if he encountered enemies. After entering the 10,000 demon realm, Han Ju found a plain and meditated. He took out a first-grade nascent soul pill and consumed it. Half a year passed. Han Ju relied on the pills and quickly reached the state of breaking through. He took a deep breath. Before transcending the tribulation, he clicked on interpersonal relationships. Li Qingzi and the rest were still alive. That was good. However, it seemed that some of the elders were gone. Han Ju couldn't remember who they were. After killing Duan Tongtian, many elders had a favorable impression of him. For the time being, nothing major had happened. He could break through. Han Ju immediately perked up and prepared to break through. As the spirit qi of heaven and earth surged into his body, the rolling thunderclouds also began to gather. All the beasts in the 10,000 demon realm became uneasy. A terrifying heavenly might enveloped this small world. With the golden cicada's mystic divine robe and the 6 paths of reincarnation technique, Han Ju's tribulation was naturally nothing difficult. It had to be said that the power of the soul formation heavenly tribulation far exceeded that of the nascent soul heavenly tribulation. Fortunately, the 6 paths spirit energy was strong enough. Han Ju didn't use the burning fiend bell. He wanted to rely on his own strength to transcend the tribulation. Many cultivators died during the tribulation transcendence. Han Ju's potential and cultivation technique naturally wouldn't let him fail. Several days later, Han Ju successfully broke through. First level of the soul formation realm. You have successfully broken through to the soul formation realm and obtained a Sword Dao mystical power inheritance. Congratulations on obtaining the mystical power, 10,000 Sword Sect, 10,000 Sword Sect, using one's own sword qi to summon the sword shadows of ancient swords in the long river of history. Summoning quantity is related to one's own spirit energy. Han Ju opened his eyes, and the 6 paths spirit energy in his body started to increase. This content is taken from Light Novel World. It was like a stream turning into a river, then a sea. At that moment, a shadow flew out from the top of his head. It had his appearance. His essence soul left his body. Name, Han Ju. Name, Han Ju, lifespan, 158/3007, race, mortal, cultivation, level 1 of the soul formation realm, technique, 6 paths of reincarnation, can be inherited, magic, unparalleled finger divine sword, 7 illusionary steps, 3 pure shadow sword, unparalleled, 9 dragons devil expelling seal, major kiliacosm thunderstorm, wind god technique, mystical power, 6 paths soul absorption, heavenly punishment ghost deity sword, imitate heaven and earth, somersault cloud, 10,000. Sword sect, can be inherited, equipment, golden cicada's mystic divine robe, 7th grade numinous treasure, little universe belt, Qilin sword, demon binding rope, burning fiend bell, 6th grade numinous treasure, cultivation potential, spiritual physique of the 6 paths. It contains top-notch wind, fire, water, earth, wood, and thunder cultivation potentials. Increases providence to a certain extent. Khanate providence is as follows: unparalleled, immortal beauty, top-notch charm, destined sword fanatic, top-notch sword Dao aptitude, top-notch sword Dao learning ability, unparalleled movement technique, top-notch movement technique aptitude, descendant of the immortal emperor, after the game begins, you will receive an unparalleled cultivation technique and 1000 superior grade spirit stones. Check interpersonal relationships. First level of the soul formation realm. 3000 years of life. Han Ju was pleasantly surprised. The nascent soul realm was only a little over 1000 years old, but the soul formation realm directly tripled his lifespan. Great! Immediately, Han Ju took out the burning fiend bell and covered himself before continuing to consolidate his cultivation. 2 days later, Han Ju began to inherit the legacy of the 10,000 Sword Sect. 10,000 Sword Sect was a large-scale killing technique. The heavenly punishment ghost deity sword was more like a straight-line attack. Both had their strengths. Relying on his top-notch sword cultivation potential and comprehension ability, Han Ju grasped the 10,000 Sword Sect in less than half a day. He stood up and left. Arriving at the teleportation formation, the disciples guarding it looked at him with admiration. The commotion from the tribulation was too terrifying. The disciples immediately thought of the deity-slaying elder. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm before long. Han Ju returned to his cave abode. The moment it saw him return, the black hell chicken immediately perked up and rushed over. "Master, you're finally back. I thought you were eaten by that woman." Han Ju glared at it and said angrily, "What are you thinking all day with that chicken brain of yours?" "Master, am I not a phoenix?" "But you're a chicken now. Cultivate before you become a phoenix." "Fine." The black hell chicken was stunned. "Cultivate well. How long do I have to cultivate?" Han Ju sat on the bed and continued cultivating. He absorbed qi as he activated the simulation trial. He set Huang Jihao's cultivation level to the 9th level of the soul formation realm. Insta-kill. Han Ju was satisfied. It's settled. When the Raincoat sect comes, I'll teach them a lesson. Han Ju thought for a moment and set Huang Jihao's cultivation level to the 1st level of the Void Amalgamation realm. It took Han Ju 5 minutes to kill him. He frowned. No. Too long. I've to continue cultivating. The smugness in Han Ju's heart dissipated, replaced by a strong sense of danger. If he couldn't insta-kill the enemy would have a chance to turn the tables. In a dark underground palace, Zhou Fan and Yang Tiandong sat in a corner. Paying attention to the Raincoat sect members, Zhou Fan asked, "Why are there so few of them?" Yang Tiandong opened his eyes when he heard this, and then he said in a low voice, "Something might have happened." He immediately became excited. "Is Master coming to save me?" Zhou Fan narrowed his eyes and whispered, "Little brother, do you want to escape again?" Yang Tiandong shuddered. "Senior, forget it. Let's just wait for the sect to save us." "Useless. I don't want to be beaten. We cultivators are not afraid of such pain. How can you prove your Tao heart? How can you pursue the path of immortality? I understand, but it's really painful." Yang Tiandong's expression was as if he was wearing a mask of pain. Recalling the torture, he couldn't help but tremble. Zhou Fan was frustrated and felt that Yang Tiandong was useless. Boom! The underground palace shook violently. Li Qingzi's voice followed, "All disciples of the Jade Pure sect, prepare to resist. Kill your way out and destroy the Raincoat sect with me." Zhou Fan and Yang Tiandong were overjoyed. They were finally here. A year passed in the blink of an eye after breaking through to the soul formation realm. Han Ju was still in seclusion. Occasionally, he would pay attention to the emails. By the looks of things, the Jade Pure sect and the Raincoat sect were at war. Guan Yugang and Li Qingzi were heavily injured again. It was truly tragic. His disciple, Yang Tiandong, had also been attacked by the Raincoat sect. It seemed that he had already joined the main force, which was why he had been able to keep fighting. Han Ju could only cheer for them in his heart. He had an even more important duty, which was to protect the Jade Pure sect. Now, Han Ju was not worried about the Raincoat sect launching a sneak attack on the Jade Pure sect. Instead, he was worried about enemies far away. What was worth mentioning was that the cultivation of the Black Hell Chicken was already equivalent to a Foundation Establishment Realm cultivator. Its cultivation speed was getting faster and faster. It was lying in a corner like an elephant. Its feathers were extremely magnificent. Although it was a chicken, it had the aura of a divine pheasant. When Han Ju sized up the Black Hell Chicken in satisfaction, Xian Qingjun suddenly came to visit. Seeing her again, Han Ju's expression was very unnatural. Although Xian Qingjun was only at the Foundation Establishment Realm, there was a Mahayana demon lord hidden in her soul that he could not offend. I heard that our deity-slaying elder broke through in the 10,000 demon realm. Xian Qingjun sat beside him and asked with a smile. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. For the past year, there had been rumors that a mighty figure had transcended the tribulation in the 10,000 demon realm. Even the nascent soul elders did not dare approach. The disciples guessed that it was the mysterious deity-slaying elder. Han Ju was very unnatural. His body was a little stiff. He pretended to be calm and asked, "Why are you looking for me?" Was she going to start? Oh, his virginity. Han Ju panicked. "I'm leaving. I came to say goodbye." Xian Qingjun smiled. Han Ju was stunned. "Leaving?" Xian Qingjun asked, "What do you want before I leave?" "I'll try my best to satisfy you. I don't know how long it'll be before we meet again." Han Ju asked in surprise, "You're leaving just like that? You're not going to?" Xian Qingjun rolled her eyes at him and snorted. "You seem excited for it, keep dreaming. I need you, but not now. Don't think that I'll stay with you every day. It's not time yet." "That's good." Han Ju heaved a sigh of relief. He almost lost his virginity. He muttered, "Are there any pills that can increase the cultivation of soul formation realm cultivators?" Xian Qingjun immediately took out 4 pill bottles from her sleeve. "These are soul formation spirit enhancing pills. I only have these 4 bottles on me. I'll give them all to you." Han Ju thanked her hurriedly. Xian Qingjun reached out and used her finger to lift his chin. She smiled and said, "I won't be able to bear not seeing your face for many years. However, it's inconvenient for me to bring you along. In the future, you should stay in the Jade Pure sect and cultivate well. Don't run around. The cultivation world is very dangerous. Although you're already at the soul formation realm, you're not invincible." Han Ju nodded unnaturally. Xian Qingjun teased him and left. Han Ju wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. The pressure the Demon Lord gave him was truly great. It seemed that the Demon Lord was really only passing by the Jade Pure sect and did not have any ulterior motives. She was probably going to other places to comprehend the Tao and experience the myriad forms of life. Sigh, my damned unparalleled charm. Even the Demon Lord couldn't resist it. But then again, how fragrant. Han Li looked at the 4 bottles of soul formation stage spirit enhancing pills beside him in joy. After Xian Qingjun left, the Black Hell Chicken said excitedly, "Congratulations, Master. You don't have to worry about being eaten by her anymore." Han Ju couldn't be bothered with it and continued practicing. He wanted to master the 5th level of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique first before taking pills to strengthen his cultivation. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Raincoat Sect. Raincoat Sect. In the sect master's palace, several elders stood side by side. All of them had extraordinary auras. They wore black robes and looked like ghosts. In front of them, a man sat on a golden chair. This man wore a white robe. His hair was disheveled, and his skin was fair. However, his face was covered in wrinkles, making him look very old. He was the sect master of the Raincoat sect, Huang Zuantian. Huang Zuantian frowned and asked, "Does the Vermilion Bird Sword sect really want to fight us to the death?" The elders immediately replied. "That's right, they're courting death. I suggest that we kill Huang Jihao to intimidate them. Huang Jihao's mouth is too foul. I also feel that it's better to kill him. The Vermilion Bird Sword sect only wants to save him. There are only 2 soul formation cultivators in the Vermilion Bird Sword sect, and there are only 2 in the Jade Pure sect. One of them doesn't dare to come. With this strength, even if they fight for 100 years, they won't be able to take down our small world." Exactly. Hearing the elder's words, Huang Zuantian's brows did not relax. He asked hesitantly, "If they're so fearless, could there be a mysterious force supporting them?" A tall elder couldn't help but say, "Sect Master, you're thinking too much. We're the strongest in the great Yen cultivation world. Don't be so fearful. Can you have some confidence?" Ever since the great battle 1,000 years ago, Huang Zuantian had changed. He always thought of the worst. It was because of his change in personality that the Raincoat sect had remained hidden for 1,000 years. Now that the sect had become stronger, the elders forced Huang Zuantian to give the order to unite the great Yen cultivation world. However, Huang Zuantian was too cautious. In fact, it could be said that he was cowardly, causing the unification plan to be delayed. If not for Huang Zuantian's orders, those captured disciples would have long died. I suggest that we send 2 elders to attack the Vermilion Bird Sword sect and the Jade Pure sect. Their sects will definitely lack combat strength. This is a good opportunity. An elder suggested. His words were approved by the other elders. This was indeed a good opportunity. Huang Zuantian frowned and said nothing. Finally, the elders looked at him, waiting for him to make a decision. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Huang Zuantian asked hesitantly, "Must we fight?" "We must fight." "Alright, then I'll do it myself. I'm worried about you guys. I'll go to the Vermilion Bird Sword sect and the Jade Pure sect myself. Will that do?" Sect Master is wise. The elders laughed, but their smiles were helpless. If the sect master went, he would probably stall for time. Several months later, Han Ju had mastered the 5th level of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique and comprehended a new mystical power. More accurately, it was the advanced version of 6 paths soul absorption. He could absorb souls and store them in the depths of his essence soul. This move could protect the soul and also confine it. In addition, he could also leave a 6 paths insignia. The 6 paths insignia would exist forever. No matter how many times the other party reincarnated, it would still remain. It was equivalent to crossing the reincarnation cycle to find the other party. That was good. If he met someone he cared about in the future, he could leave behind the 6 paths insignia and meet them in their next life. The higher his cultivation realm, the more domineering the 6 paths spirit energy became. He took out the pills and continued cultivating. The first level of the soul formation realm was not enough. He wanted to be stronger. His next target was the void amalgamation realm. Han Ju no longer cared about the Raincoat sect. He was worried about the demon taming sect. He didn't forget about Xiaoyi. This guy's image was still in his interpersonal relationships. He was still as ugly as ever. His hatred was still so great that he wouldn't rest until he was dead. The key was that Xiaoyi was not the sect master. That was ridiculous. How powerful was the demon taming sect? While Han Ju was worried, Chang Yuer came to visit. To be precise, Fairy Shi Xian invited her. Fairy Shi Xian rarely invited Han Ju, so Han Ju naturally had to give her face. The source of this content is Light Novel World. He immediately went forward. When he arrived at the Jade Serene Hall, most of the disciples were present. The eldest disciple, Lu Sanxin, had already finished his apprenticeship and became a core disciple. The current eldest disciple was the seventh senior from back then, Meng He. When Meng He saw Han Ju again, he was a little embarrassed, but he still bowed respectfully. Under his command, the other disciples followed suit. The disciples were puzzled but quickly guessed the truth. There were rumors that deity-slaying elder came from Jade Serene Peak. He was extremely handsome and unparalleled. Could it be this person? They secretly sized him up. They couldn't help but be stunned by Han Ju's appearance. What a handsome man! It was definitely him. All the disciples looked at Han Ju with admiration. Chang Yuer stood in front of him very proudly. She even wanted to hold Han Ju's arm, but he cleverly avoided her. Meng He instructed all the disciples not to reveal Han Ju's identity. The disciples promised. Soon, Fairy Shi Xian arrived, and all the disciples sat down. Han Ju was still sitting at the back. Elder Han, come sit beside me, Fairy Shi Xian said. With a wave of her right hand, a meditation cushion appeared beside her. Han Ju hesitated for a moment before walking over. He sat beside Fairy Shi Xian in puzzlement. What's Master trying to do? Is she going to pass her position to me? No way. It's too troublesome to manage Jade Serene Peak. Han Ju thought worriedly. The sect master has sent a message back. He said that they have already met up with the Vermilion Bird Sword sect and are currently attacking the Raincoat sect. The imprisoned disciples have also been rescued, but he's worried that the Raincoat sect will attack us because they only encountered 5 soul formation experts. The other 5 must have other arrangements. For the time being, I hope that everyone will leave seclusion and patrol the inner and outer parts of the sect. Fairy Shi Xian spoke with a solemn expression. Among the disciples of the 18 peaks, our Jade Serene Peak contributed the least. Other than us, it's also because of the sect master's favoritism towards us. Do you understand? Her voice was very soft, but it made all the disciples feel a surge of strength. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Calm everyone's spirit was ignited. After cultivating for so many years, it was time to draw their sword. Han Ju nodded slightly. He wasn't as excited as the disciples. Fairy Shi Xian glanced at him and asked, Elder Han, are you confident in dealing with the soul formation stage cultivator from the Raincoat sect? The disciples quietened down and looked at Han Ju expectantly. Soul formation was too far away for the disciples. If they were really sent to deal with soul formation stage cultivators, wouldn't that be suicide? Not even their master, Fairy Shi Xian, could do it. Han Ju took in their expressions and finally understood why Fairy Shi Xian looked for him. So it was to calm them down. Sigh, I only wanted to cultivate in secret, but the sect keeps getting beaten up. After thinking about it, Han Ju said, I have experience dealing with soul formation cultivators. He spoke very humbly, but to the disciples, it was domineering. The elder before them had killed a soul formation cultivator before. It was said that it was an insta-kill. The disciples cheered and showed their respect for Han Ju. Alright, you can go and prepare. This matter will be arranged by your eldest senior brother. Also, regarding the deity slaying elder's identity, you're not to spread it. Only the Jade Serene Peak knows about this. Fairy Shi Xian instructed. The disciples bowed and left. Soon, only Han Ju and Fairy Shi Xian were left in the Jade Serene Hall. Fairy Shi Xian tilted her head and looked at him. She asked softly, which level are you at? Stunned, Han Ju asked curiously, what level? Cultivation level. Oh, first level. Why are you still at the first level? Fairy Shi Xian frowned. After being in seclusion for so many years, even with Han Ju's absurd aptitude, he couldn't improve much. Han Ju coughed and said, first level of the soul formation realm. Did Li Qingzi not tell her that he was about to break through? For more, visit Light Novel World. Fairy Shi Xian was stunned. Fairy Shi Xian shook her head and laughed, not knowing what to say about Han Ju. Fairy Shi Xian shook her head and laughed, not knowing what to say about Han Ju. This kid. He really knew how to keep people in suspense. Humph, you want to see me make a fool of myself? Looks like you no longer treat me as your master. After all, as your master, I've never taught you anything. Fairy Shi Xian snorted. Han Ju shrugged and said, you asked too suddenly. I didn't take a detour. Besides, I asked you before for a suitable location to undergo tribulation. Fairy Shi Xian shook her head and laughed. How could she have thought that Han Ju would break through to the soul formation realm so quickly? How many years had it been since he entered the nascent soul realm? Then, she continued to ask, if you have any needs, feel free to ask. You have done more for the sect than the sect has done for you. There's no need to be polite. Needs? Han Ju thought for a moment. Is there a cultivation pill for the soul formation realm? No. Then try your best to help me strengthen the spirit qi in the cave abode. Yes, I'll think of something. Han Ju had his own cultivation technique and spell inheritance, so he didn't need the teachings of the Jade Pure sect. The reason why he had stayed in the sect was that he had no other good place to go. Instead of wandering around, it was better to cultivate here in peace. After a short conversation, Han Ju got up and left. Fairy Shi Xian looked at his back and asked, how long can you stay in the Jade Pure sect? Han Ju stopped and turned to look at her. Why do you ask? If I wanted to run, I would have run away long ago. Fairy Shi Xian shook her head and said, I'm not afraid that you'll run away. It's just that you've grown too quickly. When the time comes, this small temple won't be able to hold a giant Buddha like you. There are many sects more powerful than the Jade Pure sect in the cultivation world. It is in man's nature to strive for better, especially for ascetics like you. Back then, the founding ancestor left the Great Yen to pursue a higher realm. She sighed as she thought of that. Han Ju smiled and said, perhaps. If I really want to leave one day, I will tell you in advance. With that, he turned around and left. To seek the great Tao in a wider world? Nonsense. He'd rather be the peak of this world than the bottom feeder of a higher realm. In any case, his potential was top-notch. If he cultivated in peace, he could constantly become stronger. Why would he need to go out and adventure? After returning to the Khanate cave abode, Han Ju began to meditate. The black hell chicken suddenly said, Master, I heard the cries of the chickens from the foot of the mountain. When I heard their voices, my heart inexplicably throbbed. I wanted to rush out. Why? Could it be the demonic technique you spoke of? This content is taken from Light Novel World. Han Ju raised his eyebrows and said, yes, you must restrain this urge. If you follow it, you will fall into eternal damnation and never become a phoenix. This is a test of the heavenly Tao. Could it be that sexual urge had arrived? It couldn't resist the sound of a hen. The moment the black hell chicken heard that, it tensed up. Its feathers stood up as though it was a rooster about to fight. Thank you for your reminder, Master. I almost fell for it. The path of cultivation is truly fraught with danger. The black hell chicken lamented. Han Ju secretly laughed. Even I'm still a virgin, you can forget about having fun. Just be a child, forever. Immediately, Han Ju and the black hell chicken entered cultivation. When he was free, Han Ju would instill his ideas into the black hell chicken. Everything was inferior, only cultivation was superior. Cultivators were all superior. A cultivating chicken was a superior chicken among chickens. In the blink of an eye, 2 years passed. Han Ju had yet to break through to the second level of the soul formation realm, but by relying on the pills, he was already approaching it. He did not stop. Instead, he continued to cultivate and strive to break through as soon as possible. One fine day, the Raincoat sect was finally here. It was sect master Huang Zuantian and an accompanying elder. This elder was known as spiritual master Shan Kuei, and he was also in the soul formation realm. Huang Zuantian landed on the top of the mountain and looked warily at the 18 peaks of the Jade Pure sect. Spiritual master Shan Kuei wore a raincoat. Under the brim of his hat, his eyes were extremely cold and contained killing intent. Sect master, attack. Spiritual master Shan Kuei said with disdain. This is the Jade Pure sect. So weak. Not even a single soul formation expert is present. There were less than 10 nascent soul experts left. They were not enough to kill. Huang Zuantian hesitated. Too weak. Could it be a trap? If it were me, I wouldn't dare to attack the Raincoat sect like this. Spiritual master Shan Kuei was speechless. What's there to be afraid of? They're just going all out. Otherwise, they'll be swallowed up by us sooner or later. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Calm Huang Zuantian was silent. Seeing how cowardly he was, spiritual master Shan Kuei was furious. If not for the fact that he could not win, he really wanted to snatch the position of sect master. No, I feel uneasy. There's something wrong. Huang Zuantian frowned. Spiritual master Shan Kuei went mad and said in a low voice, Sect master. This opportunity will never come again. If the Raincoat sect is buried in our hands, how can we face the previous sect master? Huang Zuantian frowned. Inside the Khanate cave abode. Raincoat cult is about to invade the Jade Pure sect. Han Ju opened his eyes and immediately inspected the strongest person present. Huang Zuantian, 9th level of the soul formation realm, sect master of the Raincoat sect. He's extremely cautious and doesn't like killing. The sect master was here. Extremely cautious. Doesn't like killing. Han Ju blinked and thought that he had seen wrongly. Was the Raincoat sect really not a fiendish cult? Han Ju no longer thought about it. He cautiously activated the simulation trial and first fought with Huang Zuantian. 3 breaths later, he opened his eyes again. He breathed a sigh of relief. He slowly stood up and prepared to leave the cave abode. The Black Hell Chicken was extremely nervous. Master, are you running away? It quickly stood up and prepared to run. Han Ju said angrily, we'll run away if I can't beat him. Wait here. With that, he turned into a gust of wind and rushed out of the cave abode. Soon, he found Huang Zuantian and spiritual master Shan Kuei. The two were still arguing. Spiritual master Shan Kuei tried to persuade him, but Huang Zuantian stopped him from moving abruptly. Seeing Han Ju flying over, the two of them immediately stopped and looked at him warily. Han Ju stopped less than 100 feet away from them. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for the best novel reading experience. He looked around curiously and asked, just the two of you? Huang Zuantian's heart raced. This tone. It was indeed a trap. When spiritual master Shan Kuei saw that he was only at the 9th level of the Foundation establishment realm but dared to rush over and even said such words, he knew that this person definitely had a cultivation concealment technique. He had naturally heard of the legendary deity-slaying elder. Could this person be the deity-slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect? However, Duan Tongtian had just entered the soul formation realm. He was completely incomparable to them. Spiritual master Shan Kuei said in a low voice, isn't the two of us enough? Fellow Taoist is really arrogant. Then, I'll properly test your cultivation. Han Ju ignored him and looked at Huang Zuantian. This was the sect master of the Raincoat sect. He was indeed very imposing. However, his gaze seemed evasive, almost like he was afraid. Han Ju said, Sect master, I heard that you don't like killing. Why are you targeting our Jade Pure sect? Huang Zuantian hesitated to speak. Spiritual Master Shan Kuei shouted angrily, cut the crap. He suddenly attacked, the silver dagger in his hand shooting at Han Ju. A cold light flashed. So fast. Ding! The silver-white dagger was repelled just as it was about to touch Han Ju as if it had hit an invisible bell. Spiritual Master Shan Kuei's pupils widened. He was about to cast a spell and prepare for his next move. Han Ju raised his hand at lightning speed. The three pure shadow sword materialized out of thin air and charged toward Spiritual Master Shan Kuei. Spiritual Master Shan Kuei instinctively dodged, but the three pure shadow sword was too fast. It was so fast that even he, a soul formation cultivator, could not dodge in time. Boom! Spiritual Master Shan Kuei was directly killed and his body turned into a bloody mist. Huang Zuantian's eyes widened in shock. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. After Spiritual Master Shan Kuei's corporeal body was destroyed, his essence soul had just emerged when Han Ju appeared out of thin air in front of him. He raised his hand and used the six-path soul absorption to suck his essence soul into his hand. After Spiritual Master Shan Kuei's corporeal body was destroyed, his essence soul had just emerged when Han Ju appeared out of thin air in front of him. He raised his hand and used the six-path soul absorption to suck his essence soul into his hand. Han Ju then squeezed hard and directly crushed it. It was a complete slaughter. Huang Zuantian's eyes widened. He didn't even have time to help. Too fast. Han Ju killed Spiritual Master Shan Kuei as easily as stepping on an ant. There really was a trap. Huang Zuantian immediately turned around and chose to escape. Han Ju jumped and moved in front of Huang Zuantian, stopping him. Somersault Cloud. His movement distance was related to the amount of six-path spirit energy he used. It might be difficult to move 108,000 miles, but moving for a short distance was nothing to Han Ju. Huang Zuantian was stunned. He looked at him in shock. Han Ju took out the Qilin sword and pointed it at him. Wait! Don't make a move, I can make the Raincoat sect cease fire. Huang Zuantian said in a low voice as a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Han Ju raised his eyebrows. I need to cut the weeds by the roots, understand? Huang Zuantian actually admitted defeat. Han Ju thought of his introduction. Huang Zuantian did not like killing. Could it be that he didn't want to attack the Jade Pure sect? Because of that, the actions of the Raincoat sect were delayed like this? Huang Zuantian said helplessly, actually, I don't want to create so many conflicts, but I'm the leader. I bear the responsibility of the entire sect. If I didn't take the initiative, countless disciples of the Jade Pure sect would have died. Right now, all of them are still alive and well. That was the truth. Zhou Fan and Yang Tiandong were still alive. Han Ju hesitated. If it was really as Huang Zuantian said, then he could still control the Raincoat sect. If he killed him, the entire Raincoat sect would go crazy. At that time, they would take revenge crazily, and Han Ju wouldn't be able to hunt them down all over the world. As long as you let me go, I'll definitely order the Raincoat sect to stop attacking the Jade Pure sect. Huang Zuantian said solemnly. Hearing this, Han Ju's eyes flickered. Huang Zuantian heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that they could negotiate. At this moment. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Han Ju suddenly attacked, slashing with his sword. Heavenly Punishment Ghost Deity Sword. Huang Zuantian was shocked. He hurriedly raised his hand to block, and his surging spiritual qi forcefully blocked the terrifying sword qi. However, he was still forced back, blood spilling from his mouth. Fellow Taoist. You. Huang Zuantian was furious. Huang Zuantian developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 2 stars, Han Ju sneered. Perhaps Huang Zuantian had no choice in this matter, but how could Han Ju let him go so that he could attempt to change the situation? He could make the Raincoat sect stop attacking. If he couldn't do it before, why could he do it now? It was better to just kill him and intimidate the Raincoat sect, preventing the Holy Ghost from creating more trouble. Han Ju raised the Qilin sword and pointed it at the sky. The 6 paths spirit energy in his body erupted and soared into the sky. In an instant, a blue light appeared in the sky like an ocean. It was dazzling. Sword shadows appeared from it and quickly solidified. Huang Zuantian formed hand seals with both hands. 4 scepters appeared and revolved around him. He looked at the sword shadows in the sky and panicked. What kind of spell is this? No. It's a mystical power. Han Ju was using the 10,000 sword sect. 10,000 sword shadows hung high in the sky. How spectacular was that? All of them pointed at Huang Zuantian, causing his limbs to turn cold. He quickly activated the formation, and the 4 scepters immediately pulled away. Spiritual energy burst out from the 4 corners and formed a rectangular formation. Han Ju brandished his sword. 10,000 sword shadows attacked Huang Zuantian. Like a school of carps crossing the river, divine weapons descended from the sky. Boom! The 10,000 sword sect collided with Huang Zuantian's formation, scattering the surrounding clouds. Huang Zuantian's robe fluttered wildly. He gritted his teeth and resisted with all his might. What a powerful technique. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Calm Huang Zuantian was extremely nervous and regretful. If he had known, he would have followed his instinct. He wouldn't have listened to those fools and personally come to the Jade Pure sect. I knew it. The Jade Pure sect was truly fearless. As Huang Zuantian cursed in his heart, his spirit formation shattered. The violent sword shadow collided with his body, causing him to spit out blood and fly backward. He was not directly killed. It seemed Huang Zuantian was not so weak. As he flew back, he quickly turned around and flew into the sky. He seemed to have used some sort of mystical power as well. His body transformed into a streak of light and disappeared without a trace. He couldn't be allowed to escape. Han Ju immediately used the somersault cloud while tracing his aura. Since they had already fought, he had to kill the enemy. Han Ju moved faster. After a somersault, he stood in front of Huang Zuantian. Huang Zuantian was almost scared to death and immediately waved his hand. In a flash, Han Ju took out the burning fiend bell and smashed it at him. With a boom, Huang Zuantian's right palm struck the burning fiend bell, causing him to feel dizzy. The burning fiend bell rapidly expanded as Han Ju waved his right hand. The bell was first raised, then smashed down heavily, directly pressing Huang Zuantian down. He crashed into the forest. The burning fiend bell continued to slam repeatedly as the ground shook violently. The forest within a radius of several hundred meters was flattened. Huang Zuantian's corporeal body was smashed. He quickly summoned his essence soul and wanted to continue escaping. But his speed was nothing compared to Han Ju. Han Ju used the 6 paths soul absorption and directly sucked Huang Zuantian's essence soul into his palm. The battle ended. Huang Zuantian, who was at the 9th level of the soul formation realm, faced Han Ju but was just like Duan Tongtian, unable to fight back. Another boss was defeated by me. I'm really strong. Han Ju smiled in satisfaction and returned to the Jade Pure sect. The location of the previous battle had already attracted the elders of the sect. Han Ju used the wind god technique and circled around them, quickly returning to the Khanate cave abode. The black hell chicken saw him and quickly asked, "Master, how is it? Should we run?" "I'm ready." Han Ju rolled his eyes at it and said, "Your master, don't attack without full confidence. If I do, the enemy will definitely die. The black hell chicken was stunned for a moment before slowly lying down. Hanju sat on the bed. He raised his right hand and released Huang Zuntian's essence soul. Trapped by the six paths spirit energy, his essence soul could not escape. Upon seeing Hanju, Huang Zuntian's face was filled with fear. He asked in a trembling voice, "Who are you?" "He's too powerful." Although Huang Zuntian was cautious, he was still confident. He had never thought that he would lose so badly. Hanju said expressionlessly, "Zhao Zilong of Chang Mountain." The black hell chicken was confused. Who was Zhao Zilong? Which sect is Chang Mountain? Huang Zuntian was also puzzled. Hanju asked, "There aren't any great-grand elders in your sect, right?" The reason why he did not destroy Huang Zuntian's essence soul was to obtain information. Now, his six-path soul absorption could seal essence souls or normal souls, making interrogation easier. Huang Zuntian hesitated and said, "Yes, but he's already left the Great Yen. Now, I'm the strongest in the Raincoat sect. Can you let me go? If you really can't, I'll leave the Raincoat sect and join the Jade Pure sect." In order to survive, he could let go of his dignity. Hanju raised his eyebrows. This fellow's personality was very similar to his. How despicable. Hanju snorted. "Let's see how you perform." With that, he closed his right palm and threw Huang Zuntian's essence soul into the depths of his soul, imprisoning it. With Huang Zuntian gone, the Raincoat sect was nothing to worry about. He could cultivate in peace. Hanju smiled and continued cultivating, charging towards the second level of the soul formation realm. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm. The sect master of the Raincoat sect, Huang Zuntian, and the elder, spiritual master Shan Kuei, headed to the Jade Pure sect. However, there was no news from them for several years. The sect master of the Raincoat sect, Huang Zuntian, and the elder, spiritual master Shan Kuei, headed to the Jade Pure sect. However, there was no news from them for several years. Being attacked by the Jade Pure sect and the Vermilion Bird Sword sect, the Raincoat sect started to panic. Especially the elders. With Huang Zuntian and the elders' abilities, they should be back soon. Why did it take so long? Did something happen? They recalled Huang Zuntian's worries and couldn't help but panic. Thus, they ordered all the outer sect disciples to rush back to the sect and defend against the attacks of the Jade Pure sect and the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. Previously, when dealing with the two sects, the Raincoat sect seemed very relaxed. Just the cultivators guarding the sect were enough. Now they were afraid. They were afraid that a mysterious enemy would appear. After a long time, the Jade Pure sect and the Vermilion Bird Sword sect received a request from the Raincoat sect. The latter released all the captives from the two sects, including Huang Jihao. The Jade Pure sect and the Vermilion Bird Sword sect also retreated and returned home. After fighting for so many years, they were indeed tired. It had been 5 years since he defeated Huang Zuntian. Relying on the pills, Hanju quickly broke through to the third level of the soul formation realm. He had also used up all his pills now. Without soul formation realm cultivation pills, he discovered that the spirit chi in the connate cave abode was actually a little thin to him. How many years would it take for him to break through to the void amalgamation realm? No matter how powerful a cultivation technique was, it still depended on the surrounding spirit chi. When Hanju was a little troubled, Yang Tiandong suddenly returned. After entering the cave abode, he pounced in front of Hanju and started crying. "Master! After so many years, I've finally seen you again. Do you know how much I've suffered all these years? The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. I always believed that you would come and save me, Master. Sect Master told me that if not for you presiding over the Jade Pure sect, he wouldn't have dared to come and save us. Yang Tiandong cried in an earth-shattering manner. The black hell chicken cocked its head and blinked, staring at the stranger. Han Ju felt ashamed. He didn't save Yang Tiandong mainly because he was afraid. Han Ju said, "Disciple, you performed well. I will teach you spells next. Yang Tiandong's favorability toward you has increased. Current favorability, 3 stars, Yang Tiandong was moved to tears and kept kowtowing. Then, Han Ju introduced the black hell chicken to him. Yang Tiandong had already discovered the black hell chicken, but he had no time to ask. You must be Master's disciple. You can call me Brother Chicken from now on. Brother Chicken. Han Ju was speechless. Yang Tiandong was also stunned. The black hell chicken harumphed. I'm a phoenix. Sooner or later, I'll bring Master up to the 9 heavens. For some reason, the moment it saw Yang Tiandong, it felt inexplicably hostile. It did not like his aura. It was the first time Yang Tiandong saw such a big chicken. He was a little flustered, afraid that he would say something wrong and offend Han Ju. Alright, go cultivate at the side. In a few days, I'll teach you a spell, Han Ju said. Yang Tiandong was pleasantly surprised when he heard this. He nodded obediently and hurriedly walked to the side to meditate. Han Ju continued cultivating. It seemed that Li Qingzi and the rest had returned. Indeed, the next day at noon, Li Qingzi came to visit. Visit Light Novel World. Come for a better experience, ha ha ha. Elder Han, the spy I planted in the Raincoat sect told me that the sect master is missing. Did he come to the Jade Pure sect? Did you kill him? Li Qingzi asked excitedly. Yang Tiandong looked at Han Ju expectantly. Han Ju hesitated for a moment before nodding slightly. It was good that he revealed this so that Li Qingzi would not worry and disturb him all day long. As expected of Elder Han, you're the greatest contributor to our Jade Pure sect. The sect master of the Raincoat sect is dead. They probably won't dare to cause trouble for a long time. Li Qingzi was extremely happy and couldn't stop talking. Most of the time, Han Ju responded politely. After he finished speaking, Han Ju smiled and said, "It's time for the Jade Pure sect to cultivate peacefully. Sect master, stop running around and cultivate properly." Every time he saw Li Qingzi getting beaten up, Han Ju would worry for him. Li Qingzi smiled and said, "Right, there's one more thing. In at most half a year, the ancestor will be back. In another 5 years, it will be the Jade Pure sect's millennium ceremony. It will be a joyous occasion for the sect. Although it was delayed for 2 years, it doesn't matter. I will invite all the sects to participate and build a good relationship with them. At that time, do you want to appear? I can help introduce you to the cultivation world and let them know who the most powerful deity-slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect is so that your name can shake the cultivation world." Han Ju hurriedly said, "No. No. I can't tell anyone that I killed the leader of the Raincoat sect. Let's pretend that we don't know about this. I don't want to show my face, either. I just want to cultivate properly. If the sect master wants to create hype for me, you'll be harming me instead. I've killed so many enemies for the Jade Pure sect. If this gets out, I'm dead. At that time, I can only run and leave the sect." Li Qingzi agreed after hearing these reasonable words. Before leaving, Han Ju expressed his recent problem and asked Li Qingzi to help increase the concentration of spirit qi in the cave abode. Li Qingzi immediately agreed. After leaving the cave abode, Li Qingzi began to worry. How else can I raise it? The spirit qi here is already the densest in the entire sect. I can only wait for the ancestor to return. Li Qingzi was vexed. He had already transplanted the best natural treasures over, but Han Ju was still not satisfied. This fellow's breakthrough speed is too fast. As soon as Li Qingzi left, words appeared in front of Han Ju. You successfully protected the sect and defeated the Raincoat sect. You obtained a numinous treasure, a sword technique manual, and an egg of a divine beast of providence. Congratulations on obtaining a 5th grade numinous treasure, 9 stars spirit trampling boots. Congratulations on obtaining the manual, heartless flying sword. Congratulations on obtaining the chaotic heavenly dog. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience, 9 stars spirit trampling boots, 5th grade numinous treasure. It can step on and absorb spirit chi. Its flying speed is extremely fast. It can increase the effect of movement mystical powers and movement techniques. Heartless flying sword, heartless sword technique. After cultivating this sword technique, one's emotions and lust will decrease. The lethality of this sword technique is extremely high. Chaotic heavenly dog, one of the ancient divine beasts of providence. Legend has it that the heavenly dog devours the moon. Currently in an egg state. Hanju couldn't help but smile. Finally. The 9 stars spirit trampling boots were good, being very suitable for running away. Great! In the blink of an eye. 3 years passed. Hanju was still at the 3rd level of the soul formation realm. During this period of time, he passed the heartless flying sword to Yang Tiandong while not cultivating it himself. Yang Tiandong liked it very much. With his outstanding aptitude, he became proficient in the heartless flying sword in 3 years and made a name for himself in the inner sect. He only advanced to an elite disciple half a year ago. He was about to break through to the golden core realm. The chaotic heavenly dog had already hatched. It was even hatched by the black hell chicken. The black hell chicken did not know how to hatch an egg. Hanju had taught it. It had yet to establish its own values and morals, so it did not object. After the chaotic heavenly dog hatched, it would especially take care of it. The present chaotic heavenly dog was already the size of a calf. It had silver fur and looked like a fat wolf. That's right. It was fat. The black hell chicken's plump body made it think that it looked better that way. Therefore, it also fattened the chaotic heavenly dog. Hanju didn't stop it. Plump pets were the cutest. His cultivation level far exceeded the chaotic heavenly dog. Since it couldn't surpass him, he didn't expect the pet to fight. What was worth mentioning was that the chaotic heavenly dog was arrogant by nature. It dared to challenge the black hell chicken when it was only 2 years old. This often caused the black hell chicken to go berserk, so the Khanate cave abode was often in chaos. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm. One fine day, when Yang Tiandong returned from his mission, he was very excited. One fine day, when Yang Tiandong returned from his mission, he was very excited. Ancestor, the ancestor is back, Yang Tiandong said. Hanju did not open his eyes. He immediately checked the strongest person in the Jade Pure sect. Taoist 9 Cauldrons, 8th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm, founding ancestor of the Jade Pure sect. 8th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. Nice. Hanju immediately felt a sense of security. With such a powerful figure guarding the sect, it shouldn't encounter any more tribulations, right? Hanju said softly, cultivate well. With that, he started the simulation trial and fought Taoist 9 Cauldrons. Yang Tiandong rubbed his nose awkwardly. He originally had a lot to say, but seeing that his master did not want to listen, he could only obediently walk to the side and start cultivating. The chaotic heavenly dog stared at him and whispered, "Brother Chicken, his aura is so irritating." The black hell chicken narrowed its eyes. Yes, I feel the same. Although their voices were low, Yang Tiandong could hear them clearly. He was speechless. Was his half-demon bloodline so irritating to demons? Yang Tiandong felt wronged, but he didn't dare to say anything. After a while, Hanju opened his eyes and thought, is this the Void Amalgamation Realm? Not bad. He had lost. With the wind god technique and the somersault cloud, he barely lasted for a few minutes. It was still very difficult for a cultivator at the 3rd level of the soul formation realm to fight a cultivator at the 8th level of the void amalgamation realm. Hanju took a deep breath. He had a goal. He wanted to defeat Taoist 9 cauldrons as soon as possible. For the next period of time, the entire Jade Pure sect was very lively. Firstly, the Millennium Ceremony was coming. Secondly, the founder had returned. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm under the publicity of the elders of the 18 Peaks, all sorts of legends about Taoist 9 cauldrons spread. A cultivator who had lived for more than 1,000 years was extremely rare in the entire cultivation world of the Great Yen. Hanju was still in seclusion and did not go out. Several days later, Li Qingzi came to visit. Taoist 9 cauldrons followed. He was tall and had a head full of white hair. He had the bearing of an immortal. Hanju stood up and bowed. Yang Tiandong followed suit. The Black Hell Chicken and Chaotic Heavenly Dog sprawled on the ground as they quietly looked at Taoist 9 cauldrons. After Taoist 9 cauldrons entered the cave abode, he first looked at the Black Hell Chicken and the Chaotic Heavenly Dog and then said in surprise, "These two beasts are not simple. Young friend, where did you get them?" The others of the Jade Pure sect could not see the origins of the two beasts, but Taoist 9 cauldrons could sense that they were extraordinary. After all, he had traveled the world and was very knowledgeable. Li Qingzi couldn't help but turn around. Since when was there a dog? Hanju smiled and said, "I got them by chance." Taoist 9 cauldrons smiled and didn't ask further. He walked to a chair and sat down. He looked at Hanju and said, "Young friend, it's all thanks to you that the Jade Pure sect was able to survive. Otherwise, the sect would have been destroyed. I came especially to thank you and also brought an opportunity." Opportunity? Hanju frowned. In his understanding, as long as it was not something directly given to him, it was a risk. Danger. It was easy to get into trouble. I left the Great Yen cultivation world 1,000 years ago to seek the land of immortals. After that, I went overseas and lived in the mortal world. Now, I'm already the vice sect master of a sect. This time, I'll bring some geniuses to cultivate there. When their cultivation reaches a phenomenal stage, they can return to the Jade Pure sect. Are you willing to go? Taoist 9 cauldrons stroked his beard and smiled. Overseas vice sect master. Hanju was speechless. Your hometown was almost gone, but you went to join someone else's sect and made a name for yourself. Hanju asked cautiously, "Is your sect invincible overseas?" "It's difficult to be invincible, but it's still one of the overlords." Overlord? Are there enemies? Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience, of course, but there's nothing to be afraid of. It's very difficult to overturn our sect. There are many void amalgamation realm experts in our sect. Oh, thank you for your kind intentions, ancestor. I won't be going. Hanju shook his head and rejected. The outside was so dangerous. If they weren't an invincible sect, they would definitely face danger. In the Great Yen, the Jade Pure sect no longer had any enemies. The strongest Raincoat sect was about to fall. Taoist 9 cauldrons smiled. They said that you are very cautious. It seems that you are afraid that it will be dangerous to go overseas. That's true. Back then, He began to brag about his adventures. Indeed, no matter what world it was, old men were always talkative and loved to brag. Hanju listened quietly. After Taoist 9 cauldrons spoke for a long time, Li Qingzi finally had a chance to speak. Elder Han, it's fine if you don't want to go. It's also good to stay in the Jade Pure sect. Next, the ancestor will help our sect develop. At that time, the Jade Pure sect will definitely become the overlord of the Great Yen cultivation world. You want to cultivate diligently, right? No problem. I'll try my best to help you search for natural treasures. From now on, the entire mountain will be yours. I can expel the disciples from the other cave abodes and leave them for you and your disciples in the future. Li Qingzi smiled. He was the sect master and naturally didn't want Han Ju to leave. Taoist Nine Cauldrons had put it nicely. How could the geniuses be willing to return from a better sect? Of course, this was unless they were not doing well and were often oppressed. If Han Ju left with him, what would happen if the Jade Pure sect encountered danger again? Taoist Nine Cauldrons smiled and said, "That's right. I'll stay for at least 50 years before leaving. I'll first reform the Jade Pure sect and turn it into the holy land of the great Yen cultivation world. During this time, you can consider it." A line of words appeared in front of Han Ju. "You are invited by Taoist Nine Cauldrons and Li Qingzi. You have the following choices: 1. Follow Taoist Nine Cauldrons and go overseas. You can obtain a bottle of cultivation pills, equipment, and a numinous treasure. 2. Continue to stay in the Jade Pure sect. Cultivate while keeping a low profile and strive for stability. You can obtain a mystical power inheritance." Han Ju smiled and said, "Thank you, ancestor and sect master. I'll stay in the Jade Pure sect first." He silently chose the second option. In terms of choices, the first option may be better, unlike in the past. But he thought about it. There was no need for him to go overseas. Perhaps the spirit chi here was far inferior, but he had no enemies and could cultivate peacefully. If he went overseas, he might encounter many troubles. Han Ju didn't have any blood feuds or terrifying enemies. Why would he want to go out? In addition, Li Qingzi's suggestion was also good. This cave abode was indeed small and the entire mountain was just right for him. As for the other disciples on the mountain, Han Ju could only apologize. He believed that Li Qingzi could weigh the pros and cons. You choose to stay in the Jade Pure sect. Obtained a mystical power inheritance. Congratulations on obtaining the mystical power, Tathagata incantation, Buddhist mystical power. It can vanquish ghosts and suppress evil spirits. Buddhist mystical power. Interesting. Han Ju thought silently. The three of them continued to chat. Less than 3 days after Li Qingzi and Taoist Nine Cauldrons left, all the other cultivators on the mountain moved out. Under Li Qingzi's arrangements, a group of mortal servants came to plant the treasures. This batch of treasures was likely brought back by Taoist Nine Cauldrons. Their quality clearly exceeded the previous ones. Not only that, Li Qingzi even personally came to the foot of the mountain to set up a formation for Han Ju. The treatment was as good as it got. When this matter reached the inner sect, the disciples thought that the sect master wanted to nurture a cultivation holy mountain. All of them began to look forward to it. Little did they know that this mountain only belonged to one person. Han Ju didn't interfere with the matters outside the cave abode and cultivated in peace. The black hell chicken and the chaotic heavenly dog were also cultivating diligently. Soon, Yang Tiandong left the cave abode. Li Qingzi intended to nurture him and let him take over the Jade Pure sect. Firstly, it was because of his potential, and secondly, it was to rope Han Ju in. Half a year passed quickly. On this day, Xing Hongxian came to find Han Ju. The disciples of the various peaks had been ordered not to come to this mountain. However, Xing Hongxian had Taoist Jingshu's support, so she dared to come. Han Ju let her in. This content is taken from Light Novel World. Calm, husband, I picked up a treasure recently and specially came to give it to you. Xing Hongxian happily sat down next to Han Ju and took out a jade pearl the size of a baby's fist. After Han Ju took the bead and scanned it with his divine sense, his expression immediately turned strange. Xing Hongxian said excitedly, "This pearl can automatically gather the spirit chi of heaven and earth and create chi gathering pills automatically. This is a good treasure." Hearing Xing Hongshuan's words, Han Ju's expression became even stranger. The reason was that his divine sense discovered a soul hidden in the jade pearl. Hearing Xing Hongshuan's words, Han Ju's expression became even stranger. The reason was that his divine sense discovered a soul hidden in the jade pearl. This soul was a fierce spirit filled with a malevolent aura. It was obviously not a good thing. Han Ju asked, "Where did you find this pearl?" After he explained the situation of the ferocious spirit in the jade pearl, Xing Hongshuan's eyes widened in disbelief. After that, she frowned and said in a low voice, "I obtained it in a cultivation market. I participated in the auction and obtained a treasure. However, someone targeted me. He followed me and wanted to seize my treasure. In the end, he was killed by me and I received this item from his storage ring. The fellow Taoist who accompanied me told me that this is a connate spirit gathering jade, and it's extremely rare. It's a cultivation sacred treasure. I heard that it was so amazing, so I brought it over to you." Han Ju felt that something was amiss. But he couldn't figure it out. He immediately used the six-path soul absorption technique and eliminated the ferocious spirit inside. Then, he returned the connate spirit gathering jade to her. "Take it. I've already gotten rid of the evil spirit inside. This treasure won't be of much help to me. You, on the other hand, are about to break through to the Golden Core realm. You just happen to need this treasure," Han Ju said seriously. Xing Hongxian subconsciously wanted to reject him, but Han Ju continued, "Your cultivation is too slow. At this rate, the possibility of me becoming your husband will decrease. You should be thinking of increasing your cultivation speed." Xing Hongshuan's smile turned bitter. Han Ju couldn't bear to watch this. After all, this was the woman who had the highest favorability towards him. With a flip of his right hand, he handed Xing Hongxian the spirit pills that he had seized in the past. These pills could help her break through to the Golden Core realm and help her increase her cultivation level. "You were the one who gave me treasures in the past. I'll do the same to you now. Also, open a cave abode in the back mountain and cultivate," Han Ju said seriously. Xing Hongxian was pleasantly surprised and smiled sweetly. When Han Ju saw this, he inexplicably panicked. He said seriously, "We are not husband and wife yet. I hope that you will do your best to cultivate. Also, don't publicize our relationship. I have killed many powerful enemies for the Jade Pure sect. Don't become the enemy's weakness to threaten me, understand?" Xing Hongxian nodded obediently. "Humph, rascal. You still care about me." He said that he was afraid she would become his weakness, but he was actually worried about her safety. New novel chapters are published on Light Novel World. The more Xing Hongxian thought about it, the sweeter she felt. She recalled that back then, Han Ju was still a youth in her eyes. Now, he had become the powerful deity-slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect. Such potential was unheard of in the cultivation world. She had to work hard. If this continued, she'd not be worthy of Han Ju. Xing Hongxian didn't stay for long. She wanted to seize this opportunity to get closer to Han Ju, but the Black Hell Chicken and the chaotic Heavenly Dog kept staring at her. Their eyes widened, making her feel embarrassed. A year and a half later. The spirit chi in the mountain where Han Ju was at increased greatly. Besides the spirit gathering array, Li Qingzi also set up a protective array. Under Han Ju's instructions, Xing Hongxian quietly moved to the back of the mountain and enjoyed the boundless spirit chi there. One fine day, the Jade Pure Sect's Millennium Ceremony was about to begin. All the righteous sects of the cultivation world sent people to congratulate them. The Jade Pure Sect welcomed an unprecedentedly lively event. It was said that the sect master of the Raincoat sect vanished after heading to the Jade Pure Sect. In other words, it was very likely that he died there. This greatly elevated the Jade Pure Sect's status in the cultivation world. No one dared to slight them. After Taoist Nine Cauldrons returned, he began to personally clean up the sect. The spirit qi in the 18 peaks and the inner sect cities also increased greatly. Although it wasn't as good as Hanju's mountain, it was several times stronger than before. Not only that, but Taoist 9 cauldrons also captured several great demons comparable to the nascent soul realm and imprisoned them in the 10,000 demon realm. The Jade Pure sect was growing day by day. Hanju wasn't interested in the Millennium Ceremony, so he did not attend and continued cultivating. What was worth mentioning was that as the Black Hell Chicken and Chaotic Heavenly Dog grew larger, the cave abode could no longer contain them. Hanju chased them out half a year ago. They had to make their own cave on the mountain. At the same time, they were strictly forbidden from leaving the mountain's vicinity. The Black Hell Chicken had been instilled with values by Hanju from a young age. Now, it was already a very timid, a very cautious chicken. It often taught the Chaotic Heavenly Dog to have the same temperament as it. However, the Chaotic Heavenly Dog was naturally arrogant and despised it. Although the Chaotic Heavenly Dog did not respect it, the Black Hell Chicken still relied on its strength to forcefully control it. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Calm no matter what, this dog was hatched by it. In Hanju's words, this was its son. One fine day, a line of words suddenly appeared in front of Hanju. Detected bearer of Connate Providence, checking its origin. Another bearer of Connate Providence. Hanju already had an understanding of Connate Providence. These were people with extraordinary fates. Some were jinxes, while some were children of destiny. A person with Connate Providence was not absolutely powerful. Hanju immediately chose to check the person's background. Su Qi, the reincarnation of the jinx of the heavenly court. He was born with bad luck and would bring calamity to the people around him. He had an extremely overpowering destiny, and the people around him were often forced to death by bad luck, while he would always be able to turn the situation around for himself. When he heard that the Jade Pure sect was the strongest sect in the cultivation world, he wanted to join it and learn an orthodox cultivation method. Special hint, because you have the providence of the descendant of an immortal emperor, you are not affected by the jinx's bad luck. In addition, you are not allowed to kill the jinx. Otherwise, even your providence as the descendant of an immortal emperor cannot stop the overwhelming bad luck. What the heck? Reincarnation of a jinx? Hanju was speechless. Although his providence as a descendant of the immortal emperor could avoid the influence of the jinx, the Jade Pure sect could not. Hanju hurriedly scanned with his divine sense. Su Qi was walking towards the mountain. This was not good. Hanju hesitated for a moment before deciding to meet this jinx. At the foot of the mountain, a youth sat on a large rock, panting and wiping the sweat from his forehead. Although he wasn't handsome, his eyes were filled with spirit. He turned to look at the 18 peaks with blazing eyes. Why are you, immortal, here? Hanju's voice suddenly floated over. For more, visit Light Novel World. Calm, he appeared in front of Su Qi. Su Qi shivered in fear and hurriedly knelt in front of Hanju. Suppressing his excitement, he said, "My name is Su Qi. I want to cultivate. I know the rules of cultivation sects, but I want to skip the outer sect and directly bring my talent into the inner sect of the Jade Pure sect." How arrogant! Hanju was speechless. Also, why did that sound so familiar? Hanju shook his head and said, "You're old enough. You missed the best cultivation time." For the sake of peace and stability in the future, Hanju could only chase him away. "Impossible, my talent is unparalleled. How about this, I'll teach you the qi gathering technique. You can find another place to cultivate and not join the Jade Pure sect." "No, I have to join this sect." "Are you not a member of the Jade Pure sect? I heard that the sect is holding a millennium ceremony and is inviting all sects in the cultivation world." Su Qi looked at him warily. Hanju was puzzled. How did this mortal know so many things? Are you really not leaving? No. All right. Han Ju grabbed Su Qi and brought him back to the Khanate cave abode. Su Qi was thrown to the ground on his butt, hurting it. Han Ju sat on the bed again and said, "From today onwards, you can only stay here. You can forget about going out for the rest of your life." Since he was immune to Su Qi's bad luck, he was not afraid. As for why he did not kill him, he couldn't stand the overwhelming bad luck himself. Han Ju was still worried that after killing Su Qi, this fellow would immediately regain his identity as an immortal of the heavenly court and find trouble with him. For more, visit Light Novel World. It was better to be cautious. Hearing Han Ju's words, Su Qi was stunned. Hearing Han Ju's words, Su Qi was stunned. Then, fear and despair filled him. He asked while shivering, "Who are you?" "This is the Jade Pure sect." From what he knew, the Jade Pure sect was a righteous sect and would not do such a thing. Su Qi has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 2 stars, Han Ju said calmly. "I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. You have no choice now. Stay here from now on." Su Qi was terrified. He thought about it. Something was wrong. If Han Ju was a bad person, he should have killed him directly. He was only an ordinary mortal and not a disciple of the Jade Pure sect. What was the point of capturing him? Wait. Could it be that the expert of the sect was testing him? When Su Qi thought of this, he immediately calmed down. He immediately walked to the corner of the cave abode and imitated Han Ju. He began to meditate. Su Qi's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 3 stars, Han Ju was stunned. From 2-star hatred points to 3-star favorability. What's happening? Is this kid mentally ill? Han Ju ignored him and focused on cultivating. To prevent Su Qi from eating, drinking, and defecating in his cave abode, he taught him the simplest qi absorption technique he had obtained. He would only teach him the first level so that he won't become too hard to control. Han Ju only wanted this kid's cultivation to not catch up to his. After being taught, Su Qi's favorability towards him reached 5 stars. The Millennium Ceremony was also in full swing. Visit Light Novel World. For the best novel reading experience. Even in the cave abode, Han Ju and Su Qi could hear Li Qingzi speaking to the entire sect. He recounted the history of the Jade Pure sect, causing Su Qi's blood to boil. He was indeed still in the Jade Pure sect. Han Ju must be an expert of the sect. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so daring. Su Qi made up his mind to cultivate well with Han Ju. The Millennium Ceremony passed very quickly. After the various sects left, the Jade Pure sect did not calm down. Instead, it became even more lively. Taoist 9 Cauldrons and Li Qingzi modified the inner and outer sects and created more and more rules. In addition, Taoist 9 Cauldrons had also placed many good resources in the sect's treasure vault. There were cultivation techniques, spells, treasures, and so on. It could be seen that he was truly prepared for this return. In the blink of an eye, 3 years passed. Han Ju successfully broke through to the 4th level of the soul formation realm. With the help of Taoist 9 Cauldrons and Li Qingzi, the spirit qi in his mountain was more than 5 times stronger than before. Han Ju was very satisfied now and didn't want to run around. He also didn't want to go overseas with Taoist 9 Cauldrons. During this period of time, the Jade Pure sect recruited new disciples without restraint. The number of outer sect disciples increased greatly, but the number of inner sect disciples had yet to increase. The Jade Pure sect only took in disciples from the mortals, so as to prevent any spies. Taoist 9 Cauldrons had not left for decades. This year, he left the sect with his core disciples. Chang Yuer came to visit Han Ju and told him about this. The Raincoat sect is finished. It's like a beaten dog now, hated by everyone, she said excitedly. The chaotic heavenly dog nearly exploded when it heard that. It couldn't help but ask, "What did you say about dogs?" To prevent Chang Yue from meeting Su Qi and getting unlucky, Han Ju specially came out to see her. The two of them chatted in the woods. The chaotic heavenly dog and the black hell chicken also liked to stay here. Chang Yue smiled and said, "I'm talking about a dog raised by mortals. You're different. Don't take it to heart." The chaotic heavenly dog felt that this made sense. She continued, "Under the founder's leadership, the Raincoat sect was utterly defeated. The founder emptied out all of their resources and let the Jade Pure sect use them in the future." Han Ju was very satisfied. Taoist 9 Cauldrons helped the Jade Pure sect unify the Great Yen cultivation world before he left. This way, the sect wouldn't face the threat of annihilation again. For more, visit Light Novel World. Han Ju's impression of him improved. "How's your cultivation recently? When are you preparing to break through to the Golden Core realm?" Han Ju asked. Chang Yue blinked and said, "I have something to tell you. Master wants me to follow the ancestor overseas." Han Ju nodded slightly. He was not surprised. That was good. Under Taoist 9 Cauldrons' care, she should be able to quickly increase her cultivation. "Junior brother, are you really not coming with us?" Chang Yue asked expectantly. If Han Ju followed them overseas, Xing Hongxian and Mo Zhu wouldn't have a chance anymore. Han Ju shook his head and said, "It's too dangerous overseas. Now that the Jade Pure sect has become stronger, it's safer to stay here. Of course, for mortal cultivators like you, it's also good to go out and take a look." Chang Yue was stunned and almost died of anger. Han Ju said seriously, "When you're overseas, you have to be careful when cultivating. Don't be fooled by other men. The path of cultivation ultimately depends on yourself. Emotions like love will delay you. When we pursue the great Tao together in the future and travel the mortal world, won't it be beautiful?" Chang Yue's eyes lit up. Junior brother's words. "I knew it. I'm in your heart." He was right. Love couldn't tie down the path of cultivation. Chang Yue smiled even wider. The two of them chatted for 2 hours before parting. After she left, the chaotic heavenly dog sprawled beside the black hell chicken and asked, "Brother Chicken, that woman seems to like our master very much." After all, it was a divine beast of providence, unlike the black hell chicken, who was still a mortal for the time being. The black hell chicken said solemnly, "That's greed. She wants to eat master. Remember, if you encounter other dogs that are interested in you in the future, you have to avoid them. Otherwise, you'll never be able to obtain the great Tao. You think too much." "I'm serious, master taught me about this." "Brother Chicken, you're just a silly chicken. How can a chicken turn into a phoenix?" "What?" Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. The black hell chicken began beating the chaotic heavenly dog. In an instant, the forest was in chaos and the leaves fell to the ground. 10 years passed quickly. Han Ju broke through to the 5th level of the soul formation realm, while Su Qi's cultivation level actually reached the foundation establishment realm. His talent was indeed impressive. He didn't use the foundation establishment pill but still broke through so easily. Su Qi enjoyed the cultivation process very much. More than 10 years had passed, but he didn't have any intention of leaving. He was very respectful to Han Ju. One fine day, Taoist 9 Cauldrons brought the core disciples back, causing the Jade Pure sect to cheer. Han Ju was also disturbed. He opened his eyes and prepared to relax. He clicked on his interpersonal link to check his emails. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by a fiendish cultivator. Your Dao companion Xian Qingjun was attacked by demons and was severely injured. Your Tao companion Xian Qingjun was attacked by Buddhists and was severely injured. Your Tao companion Xian Qingjun was killed and revived. Your good friend Zhou Fan accidentally entered an ancient forbidden ground and his providence changed. Han Ju was stunned. Xian Qingjun was killed. It seemed that her mortal body could be revived infinitely. Han Ju wasn't worried. After all, she was the demon lord. He noticed that Zhou Fan's providence had changed. However, he couldn't see what the exact change was. Ha ha ha. Young friend Han, I've come to visit you. Taoist Nine Cauldrons laughed. Then, he turned into a gust of wind and rushed into the cave abode. Su Chi couldn't help but open his eyes. Han Ju knew that this was bad. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Calm the Jinx was right beside him. Would it bring bad luck to Taoist Nine Cauldrons? Although he was a Jinx, he shouldn't be able to pass on the bad luck so quickly, right? Taoist Nine Cauldrons noticed Su Chi as soon as he appeared and asked in surprise, "Is this your disciple?" Taoist Nine Cauldrons noticed Su Chi as soon as he appeared and asked in surprise, "Is this your disciple?" Han Ju shook his head and said, "No, he's just my servant." Su Chi wanted to say something but eventually chose to remain silent. Taoist Nine Cauldrons carefully sized him up, and his eyes lit up. This child's potential is very good. It's truly a waste of his talent to be your servant. Why don't you follow me overseas and seek the great Tao? Han Ju frowned and his heart skipped a beat. Oh, ancestor. You're courting death. Taoist Nine Cauldrons looked at Su Chi and asked with a smile, "Boy, are you willing? I'm the founder of the Jade Pure sect. This is a great opportunity." He directly skipped Han Ju because he already knew his personality. This kid was most afraid of trouble. If he could take Su Chi away, Han Ju might be grateful to him. Su Chi was excited when he heard that. Han Ju couldn't help but say, "Ancestor, this child's situation is special. It's best not to accept him." What could he say? Tell him that Su Chi was a jinx? Who would believe that? Taoist Nine Cauldrons asked with a faint smile, "Why? Are you unwilling to let him go?" Su Chi immediately said, "Thank you for your kind intentions, ancestor. I want to stay here." He wasn't stupid. Taoist Nine Cauldrons was the founder. He actually came to visit Han Ju personally with such a status. What did that mean? Han Ju's status was not low. He might even be on par with Taoist Nine Cauldrons. Fine. Taoist Nine Cauldrons smiled, not angry. He walked to Han Ju's side and sat down. He smiled and said, "Young friend, I've already gone to all the sects in the Great Yen cultivation world. In the future, the Jade Pure sect will no longer be in danger. You can cultivate in peace." Han Ju smiled and said, "Ancestor is truly the ancestor. How impressive. I'm very amazed." Taoist Nine Cauldrons stroked his beard and laughed, clearly enjoying the flattery. "When I went out this time, I discovered an ancient forbidden ground. There are abundant resources inside. I plan to take it for myself and make it the cultivation ground of the Jade Pure sect. This forbidden ground has just been discovered. There might be many treasures inside. Do you want to take a look?" Han Ju raised his eyebrows after hearing this. Ancient forbidden ground. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for the best novel reading experience. One word instantly appeared in his mind. Danger. Could it be the forbidden area that Zhou Fan had fallen into previously? Han Ju hurriedly shook his head and said, "Forget it, let's give a chance to the other disciples of the sect." Taoist Nine Cauldrons shook his head and laughed. This kid is really afraid of death. This was also good. The other disciples were too rash. It was better for the sect to have a cultivator like Han Ju guarding it. Taoist Nine Cauldrons continued with a smile, in 20 years, I will have to leave. The heavenly immortal abode is about to open. I'm prepared to enter to pursue the great Tao. Let me tell you, the heavenly immortal abode has an extraordinary background. Every 100 years, disciples who ascended to become immortals would appear. He began to talk. Han Ju found it familiar. Wait. Wasn't this what Xian Qingjun wanted to give him the first time she came to him? Heavenly immortal abode token. He had rejected her back then. From the looks of it, the heavenly immortal abode was indeed formidable. Even an 8th level void amalgamation realm cultivator like Taoist Nine Cauldrons wanted to enter it. Han Ju listened patiently. Su Qi also listened. After a long time. When I come back next time, I might already be at the body integration realm. My grand disciple said that you have outstanding potential and can catch up to me in a few 100 years. At that time, you and I will fight and see who is stronger. Taoist Nine Cauldrons smiled proudly. Han Ju was speechless. He suddenly realized that Taoist Nine Cauldrons' personality was different from what he had imagined. This fellow had the heart to show off. That made sense. Taoist Nine Cauldrons' return this time could be said to be extremely sensational. He even suppressed the top cultivation of the great Yen cultivation world. Such a person would definitely have a high-profile temperament. Han Ju shook his head and smiled. Even if you give me a few thousand years, I won't be able to catch up to you. Taoist Nine Cauldrons was delighted. Taoist Nine Cauldrons has a good impression of you. Current favorability, 1 star, he finally had a good impression of him. Han Ju had been wondering why Taoist Nine Cauldrons didn't have a good impression of him when he had contributed so much to the sect. It turned out that he wanted to hear flattery. This content is taken from Light Novel World. Taoist Nine Cauldrons was finally satisfied. He was just passing by when he came to look for Han Ju. He was shocked to discover that his prestige in the sect was not the highest. He couldn't compare to the deity-slaying elder. Taoist Nine Cauldrons had led the Jade Pure sect to greater heights, but the deity-slaying elder had saved the sect. There was indeed a gap between the two. In addition, Taoist Nine Cauldrons was too high-profile. He often walked around the inner sect and almost all the disciples had seen him. As for the deity-slaying elder, other than Jade Serene Peak, most of the disciples had never seen him. He had always been very mysterious. Under such circumstances, the disciples worshipped the mysterious deity-slaying elder even more. After posturing, Taoist Nine Cauldrons left in satisfaction. Han Ju didn't think too much and continued cultivating. Time flew. 10 years passed quickly. While the Jade Pure sect was growing rapidly, Han Ju had been cultivating silently. His cultivation level had broken through to the 6th level of the soul formation realm. He used the simulation trial to fight Taoist Nine Cauldrons again. This time, he lasted for an hour. But he still lost. Han Ju sighed. Taoist Nine Cauldrons, who was at the 8th level of the void amalgamation realm, was very strong. In a bad mood, Han Ju prepared to go out and wander around. He suddenly recalled that Taoist Nine Cauldrons had already come into contact with Su Qi. Would he encounter bad luck? He immediately opened the emails. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was attacked by demons. Your good friend Mo Zhu was attacked by demons. Your good friend Taoist Nine Cauldrons encountered a mental demon during cultivation. Your good friend Taoist Nine Cauldrons was attacked by a mental demon, reducing his cultivation by 100 years. Your good friend Zhou Fan is dead. His soul was recalled by a mighty figure. He has been reborn. Han Ju was amused. Updated from Light Novel World. Taoist Nine Cauldrons had truly gotten unlucky. As for Zhou Fan, this experience was the protagonist's life. Han Ju shook his head and laughed. His mood improved and he got up to leave. Su Qi was still cultivating. Han Ju didn't teach him anything. He had been cultivating with the foundational qi absorption technique until today and had never taken any youth-retaining pills. Now, he was already mature and was no longer the elegant youth from before. Xing Hongxian went out a few years ago and had just returned less than 3 days ago. Han Ju decided to visit her. This was the first time Han Ju came to her cave abode. Xing Hongxian was so excited that she stood up to welcome him. After the two of them entered the cave abode, Xing Hongxian waved her hand and used the formation array to close the entrance. Han Ju sized up her cave abode. Although it was a cave abode, it had a unique charm. There were many paintings hanging on the wall, and the bed was a white jade boulder. It was spotlessly white. Xing Hongxian immediately hugged his arm and pulled him to the table. She smiled and said, "Husband, you came at the right time. A few years ago, I went to the ancient forbidden ground and obtained quite a number of treasures there. You can take a look and see what you like." She waved her right hand and treasures appeared on the table. There were jades, equipment, natural treasures, and so on. They were all very small. Han Ju sat down and scanned them with his divine sense. He merely glanced at them. Although Xing Hongxian was already a golden core realm cultivator, what treasures could she find? Han Ju suddenly exclaimed. His gaze landed on a wooden tablet that looked like a memorial tablet. Xing Hongxian noticed his expression and smiled smugly. "How about it? If you like it, you can take it. Everything I have is also yours." Han Ju ignored her and picked up the wooden tablet. There were no words on it. It looked very ordinary. However, Han Ju could sense a faint spiritual will inside. It was very weak. Ordinary soul formation realm cultivators might not even notice. Han Ju closed his eyes and probed with his divine sense. Boom, a powerful divine sense broke through the spiritual will in the wooden token. Immediately after, a memory surged into Han Ju's mind. Xing Hongxian raised her hands and looked at him. It had been a long time since she had seen him so close. For more, visit Light Novel World. Why was this face so handsome? Xing Hongxian was no longer young and often went out to train. She could be said to be experienced and knowledgeable. However, no matter how many talented people she saw, she still thought that Han Ju was the best. He was indeed the man she fell in love with at first sight. After a long while. Han Ju opened his eyes and looked surprised. There was a secret technique hidden within the wooden tablet. Heavenly puppet. This kind of puppet was made of spiritual energy. Han Ju could create a puppet with the same cultivation level as him. The weakness was that the puppet didn't last long enough. After the spiritual energy was exhausted, the puppet would stop moving until the next time spiritual energy was poured in again. The heavenly puppet was not able to fight automatically. It required a trace of the user's soul thought to control. It was similar to a clone, but the destruction of the heavenly puppet would not affect the creator. Because there was no need for breathing, the heavenly puppet could be stored in his storage ring. This was a good secret technique. Han Ju could create some heavenly puppets for the people he wanted to protect. Han Ju immediately stood up and said, "It's indeed a good treasure. I'll go back and cultivate first. I'll look for you again after some time." With that, he vanished. Xing Hongxian was taken aback. Her expression turned bitter. However, on second thought, it must be a good treasure to make Han Ju so impatient. She felt happy again. He would definitely like her more now. After returning to the Khanate cave abode, Han Ju immediately started creating the heavenly puppet. He mobilized his spiritual energy with both hands as if he was creating an invisible clay figure. He was pleasantly surprised to find that using the 6 paths spirit energy to create the heavenly puppet was not an obstacle. The inherited memories told him that the creation process of the heavenly puppet was very difficult. The difficulty was related to spiritual energy. Under normal circumstances, it was difficult for spiritual energy to materialize, let alone create puppets. However, according to the heavenly puppet's secret technique, it was indeed possible. This was extremely miraculous. At the same time, the secret technique to create a soul thought was rather rare and could be used on other techniques. Soul thought was equivalent to having an extra pair of eyes. Han Ju planned to create some heavenly puppets for Xing Hongxian, Chang Yue, and Fairy Shi Xian. Oh! Visit Light Novel World. Com for a better experience, one for his disciple, Yang Tiandong, as well. The next time they encountered danger, his puppet would save their lives. However, Han Ju still underestimated the difficulty of making the heavenly puppet. It took a full year. Han Ju had only created one heavenly puppet. Although it was not difficult to create, it was too cumbersome and required a lot of time and effort. The newly formed heavenly puppet was already fully charged. This puppet was like a wooden puppet with a crude appearance. Han Ju didn't dare to carve his face onto it. Wasn't that just drawing attention to him? Then, Han Ju flashed into Xing Hongshuan's cave abode. Still cultivating, she was shocked by Han Ju's sudden appearance. However, when she saw that it was him, she smiled happily again. Han Ju immediately took out the heavenly puppet and said, "Put this puppet in your storage ring. No matter where you go in the future, you must bring it with you. At the critical moment, it can save your life." With that, he returned to the Khanate cave abode. Xing Hongxian was pleasantly surprised as she looked at the heavenly puppet. Its figure was very similar to Han Ju. On the other side, Han Ju continued to create more heavenly puppets. With the first experience, Han Ju created 2 more heavenly puppets in the next year. The heavenly puppet was equivalent to his avatar. Apart from not having his Dharma treasures, it could unleash his true strength. It was very powerful. Han Ju had thought about creating an army. However, after creating the 3 puppets, he dismissed the idea. Creating a soul thought was equivalent to cutting off a piece of his soul. A few soul thoughts were fine, but a few dozen would be problematic. Any more and his soul would be reduced to a remnant soul. In addition, creating the heavenly puppet would delay his cultivation. In the past 2 years, his cultivation level had not increased at all. If he was obsessed with creating heavenly puppets, wouldn't that affect his true pursuit? That wouldn't do. It would delay his cultivation. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Han Ju took a deep breath. He put away the 2 puppets and left. Su Qi was secretly curious. What were those 2 wooden puppets? In the past 2 years, he had personally seen Han Ju create the heavenly puppets and felt that they were amazing. He couldn't figure it out and decided not to think about it. Han Ju gave the 2 puppets to Chang Yue and Fairy Shi Xian. Chang Yue was pleasantly surprised and kept pestering him. It took a long time for him to escape. Fairy Shi Xian was very calm about it. The 2 did not talk much. One was passionate, while the other was cold. Han Ju clicked his tongue in wonder. Yang Tiandong followed the sect master and was always outside. He couldn't be found for the time being. Previously, he was still considering if he should refine a heavenly puppet for Mo Zhu. In the end, he heard from Chang Yue that Mo Zhu had already headed to the secret hall. The secret hall was the ancient mystic realm that Taoist 9 cauldrons had discovered. He had created a new location for the sect inside, and the spirit chi there was richer than that of the inner sect. To join the secret hall, one had to be an elite disciple at the very least. In other words, the Jade Pure sect now had a new hierarchy. The secret hall, the inner sect's 18 peaks, and the outer sect. The ancient mystic realm had yet to be fully explored, so only the secret hall was the safest. The inner sect had a teleportation formation leading there. However, the concentration of spiritual energy in the secret hall was not comparable to Hanju's mountain. So, he was too lazy to move over. Back in the cave abode, Hanju perked up and started cultivating. In the blink of an eye, 3 years passed. 3 lines of words suddenly appeared in front of Hanju. You are already 200 years old. You have already lived for a long time. You have the following choices for your future cultivation. 1. Cultivate in a low-profile manner, just like you did in the first part of your life. Cultivate quietly and don't fight for fame and fortune. From now on, the rewards will favor keeping a low profile. You can obtain a numinous treasure. 2. Cultivate in a high-profile manner, become a prodigy, and become famous throughout the world. From now on, the rewards will be more focused on cultivating in a high-profile manner. You can obtain equipment, a spell technique manual, and a mystical power inheritance. Unknowingly, Hanju was already 200 years old. Time truly passed quickly. Follow new episodes on the light novel world. Com platform. Hanju didn't hesitate and chose the first option. A prodigy of a generation. It sounded great, but he refused to accept it. My aptitude is so amazing already, why should I be high profile? When I reach the great Tao, won't I be able to travel the world more freely? Hanju thought proudly. You chose to cultivate in a low-profile manner and obtained a numinous treasure. Congratulations on obtaining a 4th-grade numinous treasure, Frost Lord's Glazed Crown, Frost Lord's Glazed Crown, 4th-grade defensive numinous treasure. It can reflect all attacks below the Void Amalgamation realm, except for some special mystical powers. It can effectively defend against soul and consciousness attacks. Another defensive numinous treasure. The system knows me well. Hanju thought in surprise. He immediately took out the Frost Lord's glazed crown and began to connect with it using his blood. This crown was very cool looking, being purple-blue in color, and looked very exquisite. From now on, Hanju was armed with numinous treasures from head to toe. He was armed to the extreme. Nobody at the Soul Formation realm could hurt him at all. As for the Void Amalgamation realm, they could forget about instantly killing him. Su Chi noticed the glazed crown and his eyes widened. It was his first time seeing such a handsome crown. After half a day, Hanju finally made the Frost Lord's glazed crown recognize him as its master. He put the crown on, feeling more secure. Hanju continued cultivating happily. Another 5 years passed. Taoist 9 Cauldrons left with a group of disciples and headed overseas. Before leaving, Chang Yuer came to bid him farewell. It took Hanju a long time to send this crying senior sister away. After Taoist 9 Cauldrons left, Hanju became bored. He used the simulation trial to check the person with the highest cultivation in the Jade Pure sect other than him. Li Qianlong, 5th level of the Soul Formation realm, the successor of the Poison King. Li Qianlong. Li Qianlong. Poison King's successor. Hanju had a strange expression. Li Qianlong's name was very familiar. He seemed to have heard it somewhere before. Wait. More than 100 years ago, Mo Zhu had asked him to look for opportunities together. It seemed like she was looking for Li Qianlong's cave abode. He didn't expect that after so long, Taoist Li Qianlong would actually come here. The 5th level of the Soul Formation realm was extremely high in the cultivation world of the Great Yen. If he returned openly, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. Hanju had never heard of such a thing. Yang Tiandong, Chang Yuer, and Xing Hongxian often came to look for him, but none of them mentioned it. What did this mean? It meant that Li Qianlong had infiltrated them. Hanju immediately searched for him. Li Qianlong was actually at the main peak. At that moment, Taoist Jingxiu summoned all the disciples of the main peak. Xing Hongxian was also present. Li Qianlong had an ordinary appearance and his aura was suppressed at the first level of the Golden Core realm. He had an honest appearance, yet who would have imagined that he was the successor of the Poison King? Han Ju didn't send his divine sense into the main peak to avoid alerting the enemy. The reason why Daoist Jingxiu had summoned all the disciples was to inform them of Daoist Nine Cauldrons' departure. When Li Qianlong found out, he was overjoyed, but he hid it well. He had finally found an opportunity. Previously, with Daoist Nine Cauldrons around, he didn't dare to act recklessly. Now that Daoist Nine Cauldrons had left, he finally felt as if the clouds had parted and he could finally see the sun. Calm down. There's one more standing in my way. Li Qianlong thought silently. The most mysterious person in the Jade Pure sect. Deity-slaying elder. He had heard that the reason why the Raincoat sect was defeated was that the sect master slaughtered his way to the Jade Pure sect and never returned. At that time, Daoist Nine Cauldrons had yet to return. In other words, Deity-slaying elder had the terrifying ability to kill the sect master of the Raincoat sect. Before Li Qianlong carried out his plan, he had to think of a way to deal with the deity-slaying elder. Follow new episodes on the light novel world. Com platform. However, he had yet to find out who the deity-slaying elder was. It was said that he came from Jade Serene Peak. Jade Serene Peak. When he thought of that person on Jade Serene Peak, Li Qianlong's gaze became bitter. Ever since he discovered Li Qianlong, Han Ju would often pay attention to him while cultivating. If Li Qianlong didn't want to harm the Jade Pure sect, he naturally couldn't kill him directly. He had sent a voice transmission to Xing Hongxian. The inner sect of the Jade Pure sect was very peaceful, and there had been no incidents. Just like that, 5 years passed. Han Ju broke through to the 7th level of the Soul Formation realm. He was getting closer and closer to the Void Amalgamation realm. Han Ju was very happy. He checked Li Qianlong's location again and discovered that he had already left the Jade Pure sect. Han Ju didn't mind. It was fine as long as Li Qianlong didn't cause trouble. Han Ju checked the emails. Your Dao companion Xian Qingjun experienced the aspects of life and comprehended a mystical power. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou has fallen to the demonic path. Your divine pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, has comprehended its innate mystical power. Your good friend Daoist Nine Cauldrons was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. Your good friend Daoist Nine Cauldrons is furious and his Dao heart is damaged. Your good friend Zhou Fan obtained the domination physique, shaking heaven and earth. Han Ju was stunned. Fuck. So much had happened in the past 5 years. Mo Fuzhou had fallen to the demonic path. What had happened to him? That dog actually didn't tell him that it had comprehended its innate mystical power. Daoist Nine Cauldrons was truly pitiful. Serve him right for attempting to recruit the Jinx. Visit Light Novel World. Com for a better experience. As for Zhou Fan. Wow. He really lived up to his protagonist-like name. Han Ju took a deep breath and felt that he couldn't relax. His cultivation might be the apex in the cultivation world of the Great Yen, but that did not mean that it would be the same in the future. He had to cultivate diligently. A protagonist like Zhou Fan might change an era. Although he was still a golden core cultivator, his recent encounter was very similar to the early stages of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique. He was constantly building his foundation. After so many years, the natural treasures in his mountain also began to mature one after another, and the spirit chi entered a period of explosive growth. Han Ju decided to try his best to reach the Void Amalgamation realm. In the blink of an eye. Another 10 years passed. Han Ju's cultivation level had reached the 8th level of the Soul Formation realm, and he was not far from the 9th level. Every time he thought of the Void Amalgamation realm, he would be very excited. One fine day, Li Qingzi came to visit. To prevent Su Qi from passing on his bad luck to him, Han Ju walked out of the cave abode. Elder Han, long time no see. How's your cultivation going? Li Qingzi asked warmly. He was in the limelight now. With Taoist Nine Cauldrons' help, his cultivation level had already reached the 9th level of the nascent soul realm. Apart from his cultivation, he was also the leader of the righteous path in the great Yen cultivation world. All these years, Han Ju didn't see him being attacked. Not bad. May I know why you are looking for me? Han Ju asked with a smile. Li Qingzi smiled and said, the Righteous Path's Cultivation Conference is about to begin. Do you want to go? This conference is located in the imperial capital of the Great Yen Dynasty. You can obtain the providence of the human race that can aid in cultivation. A notification appeared in front of Han Ju. Sect Master Li Qingzi invites you to participate in the cultivation conference. You have the following choices: 1. Reject. Continue cultivating. You can obtain a numinous treasure. 2. Accept it. If you leave the sect with the sect master, you can obtain a superior grade spirit stone. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. The difference in rewards between the two was huge. However, Han Ju was already used to it. It was not that the system forced him to make such a choice, but that he had chosen to cultivate in a low-profile manner. This was the path that the system had planned for him forward. Han Ju silently chose the first option. It was very easy for something to happen during the cultivation conference. It was a big deal. Han Ju shook his head and said, "Forget it, I won't go." Sect Master, be careful. Although things have been going smoothly for the Jade Pure sect recently, the matter of the ancestors' departure will definitely be known by other forces. Li Qingzi sighed. This Elder Han's heart of cultivation was ridiculous. If it was him, with Han Ju's ability, he would have long been out enjoying life. You rejected the sect master's invitation and obtained a numinous treasure. Congratulations on obtaining the supreme grade numinous treasure, Book of Misfortune, unparalleled numinous treasure. It can curse living beings and bring misfortune to them. At the same time, it will not be detected by them. The Book of Misfortune. Curse. Han Ju became interested. However, with Li Qingzi in front of him, he couldn't take it out. Sect Master, what do you think of Li Qianlong? Han Ju suddenly asked. Li Qingzi was about to leave the sect. If Li Qianlong returned and wanted to cause trouble, Han Ju had to know if he could kill him. Li Qingzi's expression changed when he heard that. Why do you ask, Elder Han? As soon as he said that, he felt that his attitude was not good. He hurriedly explained, this person was once my junior. His talent was unparalleled, but both he and Guan Yugang liked Fairy Shi Xian. The two of them had a life-and-death battle and forced my master to make a move. However, Li Qianlong was not convinced and actually dared to make a move on my master. While imprisoned, he secretly fled the sect. Before he left a letter saying that he would definitely overturn the Jade Pure sect when he returned. He was very displeased when Li Qianlong was mentioned. Han Ju blinked. It was another tragedy caused by jealousy. No wonder Fairy Shi Xian did not allow her disciples to talk about love. Han Ju said softly, Li Qianlong has returned, but he went out recently. He disguised himself and entered the main peak. Li Qingzi widened his eyes and trembled in anger. He grabbed Han Ju and said, if he comes back again, Elder Han, you have to catch him. That's right, don't kill him. Don't be too ruthless and kill him accidentally. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. Hearing Li Qingzi's words, Han Ju was very curious about the gossip of this generation. Hearing Li Qingzi's words, Han Ju was very curious about the gossip of this generation. Why did it feel like all of them liked Fairy Shi Xian? Wasn't Daoist Jingxu good enough for them? Well, that was true. Daoist Jingxu was not beautiful. Li Qingzi left after leaving some parting words. Li Qianlong's appearance made him uneasy. He frowned as he left. Han Ju returned to his cave abode and took out the Book of Misfortune. This was a supreme-grade numinous treasure. Han Ju was very excited and started to drip blood on it. Su Qi opened his eyes and looked at the Book of Misfortune in Han Ju's hand. The Book of Misfortune looked more like a black drawing scroll than a book. For some reason, when Su Qi saw the Book of Misfortune, he felt an inexplicable closeness. He liked this treasure. But liking was just liking, Su Qi did not dare to ask for it. He continued to cultivate. Because of his outstanding aptitude, Han Ju had imparted the Jade Pure technique to Su Qi some time ago. The Jade Pure technique was the ultimate technique of the Jade Pure sect. It wasn't difficult for Han Ju to obtain it with his status. The two of them already had a master-disciple relationship. It took Han Ju an entire day to make the Book of Misfortune recognize him as its master. He injected 6 paths spirit energy into it and started cursing Li Qianlong. He imagined Li Qianlong's face in his mind. Between the mountains and rivers was a bamboo house. Li Qianlong knelt at the entrance. He asked in a low voice, "Master, what must I do for you to leave the mountain?" An old voice came from inside. "I've already left the cultivation world for 1,000 years. I don't want to participate in its disputes anymore. You can take revenge yourself. I've already passed on my legacy to you. Don't push your luck." Li Qianlong was extremely unwilling when he heard this. He gritted his teeth and said, "Master, then pass me the recipe for the divine poison pill. I'll rely on myself. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. No, that's my ultimate treasure. If I pass it to you, won't I be stupid if you used it to poison me to death?" Li Qianlong almost spat out blood. He cursed in his heart. Becoming a disciple of the Poison King was not a stroke of luck. He had been the Poison King's pill tester for 100 years. He had tried all kinds of poisons. That period of time could be said to be worse than death. The only consolation was that he would be the Poison King's only successor. In the end, this scoundrel, the Poison King, actually held back and did not impart all his skills. The Poison King's voice floated out again, "Taoist 9 Cauldrons has already noticed my existence. I can't offend him rashly. Right now, the Jade Pure sect is like the sun in the sky. Not many sects dare to offend them. However, if you insist, you can look for the Wei family. Although they aren't considered top-notch in the Great Yen cultivation world, they often roam the world and have a wide network." Li Qianlong's eyes flickered as he pondered. 5 minutes later, he left. He hadn't walked more than 5 kilometers when a bolt of lightning struck him. He was caught off guard. Fortunately, Li Qianlong's cultivation was high and he wasn't injured. He looked up at the sky and cursed. What a coincidence. Han Ju cursed Li Qianlong for a period of time. He couldn't test the results and could only give up and focus on cultivating. A month later, Yang Tiandong returned. To prevent him from meeting Su Qi, Han Ju walked out of the Khanate cave abode. Yang Tiandong had already completely displayed his talent. After entering the Golden Core realm, he first advanced to an elite disciple before advancing to a core disciple. He was one of the most prominent figures among the younger generation of the Jade Pure sect. "Master, I plan to go to the cultivation convention. When the time comes, the various sects will spar. Can you?" Yang Tiandong asked nervously. After learning the Heartless Flying Sword, Yang Tiandong's strength increased greatly, but he still felt that it was not enough. Han Ju nodded and said, "Then, I'll teach you another ultimate technique to win honor for the sect. This ultimate technique is called the Wind God technique." Yang Tiandong was excited and quickly thanked him. 3 days later, he left. Han Ju felt like he had forgotten something. Oh. He had forgotten to create a heavenly puppet for him. Oh well. His luck was strong, so he should be fine. 5 years later. Follow new episodes on the light novel world.com platform. Han Ju finally broke through to the 9th level of the Soul Formation realm. Next was the Void Amalgamation realm. But before that, he had to raise his cultivation level to the Major Perfection Soul Formation realm. Han Ju looked at Su Qi. He felt that it was time to throw this kid out. It was not convenient if he stayed here every day. Han Ju coughed. Su Qi looked at him. Han Ju asked expressionlessly, "You've been with me for some time. You can be considered to have stepped on the path of cultivation." Su Qi said gratefully, "Thank you, Senior." Han Ju said, "I'll give you a mission. If you can complete it, I'll take you in as my disciple." Upon hearing this, Su Qi's eyes lit up, and he hurriedly asked what the mission was. "I want you to go to the North State and join the demon-taming sect. You don't have to do anything. Just hide in there and cultivate. In the future, I will personally head there and destroy their sect in the future. You will be my spy. Let me say this first. The demon-taming sect is very strong. Even someone at the Void Amalgamation realm can only be considered an elder." Han Ju spoke in a meaningful tone. Su Qi was shocked. He had already understood the cultivation realms. The strongest in the Jade Pure sect was only at the Soul Formation realm. How powerful was the demon-taming sect? Most importantly, Han Ju wanted to destroy it. How strong was he? Su Qi's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 5 stars, a question mark appeared above Han Ju's mind. Su Qi hurriedly guaranteed, "I will complete the mission. This is a secret mission. You can leave now. Leave the Jade Pure sect and don't interact with anyone here." "All right." Su Qi stood up excitedly. After walking out of the Khanate cave abode, the sunlight fell on Su Qi. He couldn't help but feel as if a lifetime had passed. He clenched his fists and took a deep breath. "I must complete Master's test." Su Qi immediately went down the mountain. On the way down, he saw the chaotic heavenly dog and the black hell chicken fighting. Yeah, they were fighting. The black hell chicken's bloodline was still awakening. As for the chaotic heavenly dog, it had the talent of a divine beast. Its cultivation level was second to the black hell chicken's. The source of this content is Light Novel World. This fat dog did not want to remain in its current status. It wanted to be the elder. Naturally, the black hell chicken had to educate it. The two beasts often fought. Of course, their fights were non-lethal. Although the chaotic heavenly dog was arrogant, it was very close to the black hell chicken. After all, it was hatched by the chicken. After all, the black hell chicken was its father. Su Qi smiled and said, "What a fat dog. This chicken and dog battle is really interesting." The chaotic heavenly dog immediately turned around and charged at him. Su Qi fled in fright. After leaving the mountain, Su Qi escaped the pursuit of the chaotic heavenly dog. He suddenly realized something. Where was the North State? Forget it. That wasn't important. He would definitely find out eventually. This was definitely one of Master's tests. After Su Qi left, Han Ju continued to cultivate. 2 years later, his cultivation finally reached the Major Perfection Soul Formation realm. He was about to break through to the Void Amalgamation realm. Han Ju held back his excitement and checked his emails first. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. Your disciple Yang Tiandong had a fortuitous encounter and awakened the demon saint bloodline. Your divine pet, chaotic heavenly dog, made a mistake in cultivation. Cultivation has been reduced by 20 years. Your good friend Imo Fuzhou was attacked by righteous cultivators, X104, your good friend Chang Yuer accidentally obtained a fortuitous encounter and her cultivation level increased greatly. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by a fiendish cultivator, X27, your disciple Su Qi was captured by the Green Ghost sect. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Your disciple Su Qi spread his bad luck. The Green Ghost sect encountered an extremely rare heavenly tribulation that struck once in hundreds of years. The entire sect has been destroyed. Destruction of the entire sect. Destruction of the entire sect. Han Ju was stunned and gasped at his amazing power. As expected of Heavenly Court's Jinx, he was a walking nuclear bomb. However, Han Ju had never heard of the Green Ghost sect. It was probably a small sect somewhere. A truly powerful cultivation sect would not be unable to overcome a heavenly tribulation that was rare even in a few hundred years. Perhaps with Su Qi, Han Ju would be able to finish off the demon-taming sect. Han Ju noticed that Mo Fuzhou was being pursued by the righteous cultivators. He had completely fallen into the demonic path. It had to be said, the outside world was truly exciting and things were ever-changing. Fortunately, he chose to cultivate in a low-key manner. If he was like Mo Fuzhou, Zhou Fan, and Li Qingzi, how painful would that be? There was also his disciple. He said that he had gone to participate in the cultivation conference but was attacked by a demon king. Fortunately, he had survived. If he died outside, Han Ju would be speechless. Something worthy of mentioning was that Li Qianlong had not appeared recently. Could it be that he had successfully cursed him? Han Ju shook his head and prepared to head to the 10,000 demon realm. In a dark valley, Li Qianlong leaned against the wall and held his breath. A dozen cultivators stood beside him. Looking up, countless demons circled above the valley. A young cultivator by Li Qianlong's side couldn't help but grumble, "Senior, don't you know the way? Why did you bring us to the demon cave?" The other cultivators were also frightened. They were all cultivators of the Wei family. Li Qianlong followed the Poison King's instructions and found the Wei family. He spent a few years taking in their eldest son and established a good relationship with him. This time, he left the Great Yen with the Wei family and was prepared to rope in other powerful sects in the cultivation world. However, something went wrong when they used a teleportation formation. They were directly teleported to the demon cave. There were countless demons here, and there was even a demon king whose strength was extremely terrifying. Even Li Qianlong found it difficult to defeat him. Li Qianlong was also very depressed. In recent years, his luck had been extremely bad. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. He had been struck by lightning during his journey and encountered a mental demon during his cultivation. He had robbed a young cultivator, but in the end, he was a soul formation cultivator pretending to be weak. This time, it was even worse for the Wei family. No. I haven't had my revenge. I can't die here. Li Qianlong gritted his teeth. Pet Beast Pavilion. Dozens of disciples were gathered, including Daoist Jingshu. From today onwards, all disciples are not to enter the 10,000 demon realm and must await the open notice, Daoist Jingshu said expressionlessly. A disciple of the main peak couldn't help but ask, "Master, what happened in the 10,000 demon realm?" The other disciples were also very curious. Every disciple would go to the 10,000 demon realm to capture demon beasts and increase their confidence in traveling the cultivation world. Daoist Jingshu said calmly, "Deity-slaying elder is undergoing tribulation. Perhaps he's cultivating a mystical power." She never thought that Han Ju would break through to the void amalgamation realm. It had only been a few decades. Impossible. It had taken Daoist 9 cauldrons more than 1,000 years to reach the void amalgamation realm. One had to know that Daoist 9 cauldrons was the #1 genius in the Great Yen cultivation world. Whoosh, the disciples were in an uproar. Deity-slaying elder is inside. Wow, I've never seen the deity-slaying elder before. It said that deity-slaying elder is the strongest pillar of the Jade Pure sect. He has been cultivating in seclusion. No one can match deity-slaying elder's cultivation persistence. It said that deity-slaying elder looks better than all men and women in the world. I really want to see deity-slaying elder's true appearance. Is deity-slaying elder accepting a disciple? The disciples were very excited and discussed non-stop. The news spread very quickly. More and more disciples rushed over, completely blocking the pet beast pavilion. All the disciples had heard of the legendary deeds of the deity-slaying elder. Some people even said that the reason why the Jade Pure sect could be where it was today was because of the deity-slaying elder. Several days later, Guan Yu Gang rushed over. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm when he saw so many people gathered outside the building, he cursed angrily. All of you, scram. Whoever dares to gather here will be banished to the outer sect. With that said, all the disciples scattered. Guan Yu Gang came to the counter and said, activate the formation. I'm going to the 10,000 demon realm. The person in charge hesitated. Daoist Jingshu said that no one is allowed. Who do you think I am? After hearing that, the person hurriedly activated the teleportation formation. After 7 days and 7 nights of persistence, Hanju finally survived the powerful heavenly tribulation and advanced to become a void amalgamation realm cultivator. With his ability, the heavenly tribulation could not kill him. Congratulations on breaking through to the void amalgamation realm and obtaining a birth dharma treasure. The birth dharma treasure will fuse with your soul and only recognize you. As you become stronger, the birth dharma treasure will also become stronger. As for the birth dharma treasure, you have the following choices: 1. Sword. 2. Defensive dharma treasure. Hanju was covered in defensive numinous treasures already, so he naturally chose the sword. After all, he was a sword cultivator. He chose the first choice without hesitation. Congratulations on obtaining the Primordial Judgment Sword. Primordial Judgment Sword, since you are not reincarnated normally, but have transmigrated here by crossing the primordial chaos, the primordial chi in your body has been refined into your birth dharma treasure. Primordial chaos. Hanju was stunned. Was it the primordial chaos? The system did not answer him. He didn't think too much and continued to consolidate his cultivation. His attributes now were: name, Hanju, lifespan, 227/8940, race, human, mortal transcendent stage. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm, cultivation, first level of the void amalgamation realm, technique, 6 paths of reincarnation, can be inherited, magic, unparalleled finger divine sword, 7 illusionary steps, 3 pure shadow sword, unparalleled, 9 dragons devil expelling seal, major kiliacosm thunderstorm, wind god technique, mystical power, 6 paths soul absorption, heavenly punishment ghost deity sword, imitate heaven and earth, somersault cloud, 10,000 sword sect, can be inherited, Tathagata. Incantation, equipment, golden cicadas mystic divine robe, 7th grade numinous treasure, little universe belt, Qilin sword, demon binding rope, burning fiend bell, 6th grade numinous treasure, 9 stars spirit trampling boots, 5th grade numinous treasure, frost lord's glazed crown, 4th grade numinous treasure, book of misfortune, supreme grade numinous treasure, birth dharma treasure, primordial judgment sword, cultivation potential, spiritual physique of the 6 paths. It contains top-notch wind, fire, water, earth, wood, and thunder cultivation potentials. Increases providence to a certain extent. Connate providence is as follows: unparalleled, immortal beauty, top-notch charm, destined sword fanatic, top-notch sword Dao aptitude, top-notch sword Dao learning ability, unparalleled movement technique, top-notch movement technique aptitude, descendant of the immortal emperor. After the game begins, you will receive an unparalleled cultivation technique and 1,000 superior grade spirit stones. Check interpersonal relationships. His lifespan increased to 8,940 years. Awesome. Han Ju also noticed that his identity as a human had changed to mortal transcendence stage. Was this a hint that he was on the path to becoming an immortal? Han Ju was in a good mood. After 200 years of boring cultivation, anyone else would have gone mad. But he was used to this, he even enjoyed it. This feeling of steadily becoming stronger was too good. The reason why mortals hated cultivation was that they could not feel themselves becoming stronger most of the time. However, Han Ju was different. His potential was outstanding and he became stronger almost every day. Reaching the void amalgamation realm meant that he was truly invincible in the great yen cultivation world. Next. Of course, he had to continue charging into the body integration realm. Han Ju thought firmly. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience at this moment, a voice sounded, Deity Slaying Elder, I'm Guan Yu Gang. After you consolidate your cultivation, let's spar. If I defeat you, I will become the sect master. Han Ju couldn't help but open his eyes when he heard Guan Yogang's words. Han Ju couldn't help but open his eyes when he heard Guan Yogang's words. He saw Guan Yugang looking at him from several kilometers away. His white clothes fluttered in the wind, and he had a confident expression. Han Ju had opened a barrier during his tribulation transcendence, so the pressure of the heavenly tribulation was not that terrifying. This caused Guan Yugang to feel that Han Ju's breakthrough was nothing much. Sigh, you didn't come earlier, but now. Han Ju shook his head and laughed. He continued to consolidate his cultivation. 4 days later. Han Ju's cultivation had completely stabilized. The 6-path spirit energy in his body far exceeded what he had before his breakthrough. He stood up and stepped into the air, heading towards Guan Yugang. Guan Yugang couldn't wait any longer. He couldn't be bothered to show respect. He took out a sword and charged at Han Ju. While flying, he quickly cast a spell with both hands. He circulated his spirit energy, causing his robes to flutter. As long as I defeat him, I can become the sect master of the Jade Pure sect. At that time, junior sister Shi Xian will definitely marry me. Guan Yogang's eyes burned. Thinking of the beautiful future, his entire being was ignited. He was prepared to use the unparalleled mystical power that he had recently comprehended to instantly defeat the other party. Swish. There was a piercing sound. Sword Chi. Guan Yogang's pupils widened. He subconsciously wanted to block. However, the sword Chi was too fast. It was so fast that even he, a soul formation cultivator, could not react in time. Guh. The sword Chi of the unparalleled fingered divine sword directly penetrated Guan Yogang's abdomen, scattering the spirit energy within his body. Guan Yugang spat out a mouthful of blood as he flew back like a kite with its string cut, landing on the hill. After landing, he clutched his stomach and spat out another mouthful of blood. His aura instantly weakened. Pathetic. Impossible. Guan Yugang felt as if he was struck by lightning. He stared at Han Ju, who was walking in the air. Wearing the golden cicada's mystic divine robe, Han Ju had a stunning temperament. He wore a Frost Lord's glazed crown on his head, a little universe belt around his waist, and a pair of 9 stars spirit trampling boots on his feet. When he was meditating, Guan Yugang didn't feel much. But looking at Han Ju now, he felt that this was a true immortal, especially that perfect face. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Calm. If there were immortals in the world, they would look like this. Wait. What am I thinking? Guan Yugang suddenly awoke, followed by a sense of defeat. He couldn't even take a single strike from his opponent. Ridiculous. Previously, he had smiled and wanted to defeat his opponent with 1 strike, but in the end, he was defeated with 1 strike. At that moment, Guan Yugang wished there was a hole in the ground for him to hide in. Han Ju landed in front of him. Guan Yugang lowered his head in shame, not daring to look at him. Han Ju said softly, "Don't be disheartened. You're strong enough, but you chose the wrong opponent. In the entire Jade Pure sect, you're the only one worthy of fighting me." With that, he disappeared. Guan Yugang was stunned. He didn't feel that the other party was bragging. Instead, he felt slightly comforted. Deity-slaying elder, just how strong are you? Han Ju quickly left the 10,000 demon realm and didn't stay in the inner sect city. He returned to the Cultivation Mountain. He suddenly had an idea. With a flash, he arrived at the foot of the mountain. He cast a spell with his right hand, causing the soil to rise and quickly form a stone tablet. Han Ju used his finger as a pen and wrote 4 words on the stone tablet. Cultivate diligently, become immortal. This was the name of this mountain from now on. Cultivate diligently, become immortal mountain. Han Ju smiled in satisfaction and returned to the mountain. The Black Hell Chicken and the Chaotic Heavenly Dog were still cultivating. Xing Hongxian was nowhere to be found. Han Ju chatted with the Black Hell Chicken and Chaotic Heavenly Dog for an hour before returning to his cave abode. Sitting on the bed, he took out the Primordial Judgment Sword. The sword was crimson in color and there were black patterns on it, making it look even more extraordinary. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. Holding this sword, Han Ju felt inexplicably close to it. He poured his spirit energy into the sword. Boom! The entire mountain began to shake violently, scaring Han Ju so much that he hurriedly cut off the 6 paths spirit energy. So strong! Han Ju was pleasantly surprised. As it was a birth Dharma treasure, he didn't need to bind it with blood. Then, Han Ju entered the simulation trial and fought with Taoist 9 cauldrons. Half a minute later, Han Ju opened his eyes and let out a long breath. He muttered, "I can finally defeat you. You're really shameless. You actually know so many movement techniques." In the battle, he had severely injured Taoist 9 cauldrons with a single strike. After that, Taoist 9 cauldrons kept dodging and prolonged the battle. The 8th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm was nothing much. Han Ju's confidence increased greatly. He no longer feared the demon-taming sect and Xiaoyi. From his interpersonal relationships, he could see that Xiaoyi was still at the 2nd level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. How could Xiaoyi kill him? How? At the thought of him, Han Ju immediately took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing Xiaoyi. In the future, he would curse this guy whenever he had free time. Although Han Ju wasn't afraid of him, he didn't want this troublesome person to delay his cultivation. 10 days later, Han Ju put down the Book of Misfortune in satisfaction and began to cultivate the 6th level of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique. A year later, Han Ju had mastered the 6th level of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique and could cultivate in the Void Amalgamation Realm. At the same time, he comprehended a new mystical power. 6 Paths Ultimate Seal. If this seal landed on the enemy, it could directly kill the enemy's essence soul. Before the body was destroyed, the essence soul would be eliminated. This was a technique that could be used as a finishing move. Han Ju stretched and sighed. I've gotten stronger again. In no hurry to cultivate, he opened his interpersonal relationships and checked his emails. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. He wondered if anything had happened to his friends recently. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by a ghost cultivator, X12, your disciple Su Qi has caused the deaths of tens of thousands of lives. His negative karma has increased. Your good friend Li Qingzi was attacked by a fiendish cultivator, X58, your good friend Li Qingzi was attacked by a righteous cultivator, X44, your good friend Li Qingzi is seriously injured. His life is hanging by a thread. Your beloved Xian Qingjun has left the world. Your good friend Imo Fuzhou massacred an entire region, his negative karma is overflowing. Your good friend Xing Hongxian accidentally entered an ancient great cultivator's mystic realm. Her fate is unknown. So many exciting things in just a short year. Han Ju blinked. Damn it. Who attacked my Jade Pure sect master? Are the righteous and demonic factions rebelling? Was Mo Fuzhou on a path of no return? And Xing Hongxian? She was clearly immortal. How could she always obtain treasures and encounter opportunities? Could it be that she was infected by my providence as an immortal emperor's descendant? Han Ju made up the scenes in his mind. After a while, he continued to cultivate. Although the cultivation world was interesting, he did not want to be involved. The Jade Pure sect had the backing of Taoist Nine Cauldrons. Who could guarantee that the other sects did not? The void amalgamation realm alone was not enough. The reincarnated Mahayana cultivator, Zhou Fan, was still suffering. Now, Han Ju would cultivate with all his might and strive to reach the body integration realm within 100 years. 2 years later, Li Qingzi came to visit. Han Ju let him enter the cave abode. This fellow's expression returned to the sickly and weak state he had been in for decades. It seemed that his injuries were not light. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm Han Ju sighed and said, Sect Master, you really can't live in peace. Can't you cultivate properly for a few hundred years? Embarrassed, Li Qingzi said helplessly, I'm the Sect Master. There are many things I can't control. In the past few years, a core disciple of our Jade Pure sect fell into the demonic path and caused a lot of hatred. I had no choice but to deal with this karma. Who knew that I would fall deeper and deeper? Now, there's trouble. The righteous and demonic cultivators of the great Yen cultivation world are working together to attack my Jade Pure sect. There are only 2 soul formation cultivators in the Jade Pure sect. For some reason, Elder Guan is severely injured and is still recuperating in seclusion. Sigh. Elder Han, we might really have to escape this time. The righteous and demonic factions were ganging up on the Jade Pure sect. The righteous and demonic factions were ganging up on the Jade Pure sect. Han Ju had a strange expression. He couldn't help but ask, how do you deal with karma? Kill all those who are not convinced. Li Qingzi immediately became angry and scolded, those dogs. I personally went to apologize, but they directly attacked me. Most of the time, I didn't even have the chance to speak. You seem to know the core disciple who fell into the demonic path. His name is Mo Fuzhou. He didn't fall into the demonic path on his own accord. I suspect that someone is defaming him. Han Ju raised his eyebrows and said, tell me more about it. Li Qingzi started to describe his ordeal. He first spoke of Mo Fuzhou's origins. Mo Fuzhou came from a cultivation family. Due to evidence of collusion with the fiendish cultivators, they were wiped out by the righteous sections. Only Mo Fuzhou and Mo Zhu survived. Old immortal Taoist Thunder had personally accepted Mo Fuzhou as his disciple and given him a new name. Mo Fuzhou was a name that old immortal Taoist Thunder had personally given him, hoping that he would forget his hatred and turn over a new leaf. Mo Fuzhou had gone out to train and had met his former enemies. He had slain many of the sect's disciples and then attacked the other disciples of the righteous sects who had committed the crime. Li Qingzi felt that there was something fishy about this matter. After all, he had seen Mo Fuzhou before. He was humble, and even if he could not hold back from killing the enemy, he should have returned after the first time. He shouldn't have been seeking revenge and gone mad. Now, more than 5 sects were chasing after Mo Fuzhou. A few years ago, Mo Fuzhou had no choice but to use his family's mystical power. In the end, it was a demonic path mystical power, causing him to become a demon. More and more people were killed by this mystical power. Mo Fuzhou became a demonic cultivator and could not turn back anymore. This matter is too fishy. These sects didn't even ask me and directly pursued Mo Fuzhou for revenge. Every injustice has its perpetrator and every debt has its debtor. I can accept that. But when I went to apologize, I was beaten up. The matters of the younger generation can involve the sect masters. It's obvious that they're using this opportunity to start a war. The more Li Qingzi spoke, the more agitated he became. He felt like he was about to cry. In the end, he still chose to give up. He sighed. Now that both the righteous and demonic paths are attacking us, we can't stop them. We should just run as you think. Daoist 9 cauldrons left, while Guan Yugang was severely injured. How could Han Ju alone stop the righteous and demonic paths? Some powerful sects still had soul formation realm existences. For example, the Vermilion Bird Sword sect had 2. If all the sects joined forces, Han Ju alone would definitely not be able to stop them. Han Ju asked cautiously, do they have void amalgamation realm existences? Body integration realm existences? Li Qingzi said with widened eyes, how is that possible? Previously, Huang Zuantian's cultivation level was already at the 9th level of the soul formation realm. If they had a cultivator at the void amalgamation realm, how could they continue to be bullied? Could they be like our Jade Pure sect, where our ancestors went out to cultivate and seek fortuitous encounters? The source of this content is Light Novel World. Definitely, but I've never heard of anyone at the void amalgamation realm. Back then, when the ancestor went to look for them one by one, they all acted like grandchildren. Li Qingzi couldn't help but sigh. If only Daoist 9 cauldrons was still here. It was a rare opportunity for the Jade Pure sect to grow. There was no need to fight. After a few hundred years, it would become the strongest sect in Great Yen. However, at this juncture, something happened. Li Qingzi felt very helpless. Ever since he became the sect master, he had sacrificed so much and suffered so much. In the end, it was all for nothing. Han Ju had a strange expression. Li Qingzi understood his thoughts. He sighed and slowly stood up. Prepare yourself well. In 3 days at most, the Jade Pure sect will prepare to flee to the sea and seek refuge with the ancestor. Han Ju hurriedly said, what are you saying? If I'm not running, why are you running? Stunned, Li Qingzi asked carefully, what do you mean? Han Ju said calmly, let them come. They will understand one thing. The most terrifying person in the Jade Pure sect is not the ancestor. All along, Han Ju's imaginary enemy had always been the demon-taming sect. What did he think of the Great Yen cultivation world now? Come at me. How dare you disturb my cultivation? I'll make sure you never return. Li Qingzi was overjoyed. He understood Han Ju's character. Such a cowardly Han Ju dared to say such words. He was absolutely confident. What realm are you at now? Li Qingzi suppressed his surprise and asked. Han Ju replied, at least not inferior to the ancestor. Yeah. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Not inferior. It would take him half a minute to kill Daoist 9 cauldrons. This old man's movement techniques were too absurd. After a long while. When Li Qingzi walked out of the Khanate cave abode, he was still stunned. He felt as if he was dreaming. After Li Qingzi left, Han Ju cautiously tested the strongest person in the Jade Pure sect other than him. It was still Guan Yugang. No enemy lurked. Han Ju felt a little pity. Where was Li Qianlong? Was he cursed to death? Han Ju was still looking forward to teaching Li Qianlong a lesson. In the end, he disappeared into thin air. What a pity. Han Ju shook his head and took out the Book of Misfortune. He cursed Xiao Yi for a few days to vent his anger before continuing to cultivate. A year quickly passed. The Great Yen cultivation world was in chaos. Mo Fuzhou had killed his way to fame. The righteous and demonic sects had formed an alliance and were preparing to attack the Jade Pure sect. There were 19 sects involved. This matter had already spread to every corner of the cultivation world. All cultivators discussed this matter. 19 sects were attacking the Jade Pure sect. However, the Jade Pure sect did not panic, which made the 19 sects panic instead. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. The 19 sects did not dare to act rashly, afraid that Taoist 9 cauldrons would return. On this day, Han Ju suddenly opened his eyes from cultivation. Sensing a familiar aura, he immediately sent his divine sense out. Huang Jihao of the Vermilion Bird Sword sect. At this moment, Huang Jihao stood by a small river and gazed at the 18 peaks of the Jade Pure sect. His expression was indifferent. He looked calm, but he was panicking inside. "Why are you here again?" Han Ju's voice entered his ears. Huang Jihao trembled in fear and hurriedly said, "Fellow Taoist, don't do anything. I'm only here to visit you. I have no ill intentions towards the Jade Pure sect." "Visit me?" Han Ju was baffled. He hesitated. Should he attack? Without receiving a reply, Huang Jihao grew even more panicked. He continued, "Recently, someone has been leading the Righteous Demonic Alliance to deal with the Jade Pure sect. Our sect master sent me to inquire if the Jade Pure sect needs help." Han Ju raised his eyebrows. "Is the Vermilion Bird Sword sect trying to stab the alliance in the back?" Han Ju thought of a plan and said with a voice transmission, "The Jade Pure sect doesn't need any help. I will wait for all of you here. No matter how many of you come, you will all die." These words caused Huang Jihao's heart to beat wildly. What an arrogant tone. If it had been anyone else, Huang Jihao would have scoffed. However, he believed Han Ju. However, this matter is fishy. There might be someone behind this. If your Vermilion Bird Sword sect can find the mastermind, then I don't mind having the sect master maintain an alliance with you. Han Ju's words surprised Huang Jihao. Huang Jihao has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 4 stars, follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Han Ju was speechless when he saw this line. This fellow. Huang Jihao left. Huang Jihao left. However, Han Ju couldn't look at him anymore. The favorability increased inexplicably. Han Ju even suspected that this fellow had improper thoughts about him. Then, Han Ju continued cultivating. It was still unknown if the Vermilion Bird Sword sect could find the mastermind. Han Ju didn't care if they could. Even if the 19 sects attacked tomorrow, he would not be afraid. There was only one thing in his eyes. I should break through to the second level of the Void Amalgamation Realm as soon as possible. In a cave with a flickering flame, Xing Hongxian sat in front of a fire. Roar, a deafening roar came from outside the cave. It was terrifying. Xing Hongxian slowly opened her eyes. She looked at the words carved on the mountain wall and frowned slightly. Why do I feel like something is missing? Xing Hongxian thought bitterly. This was a mystic realm belonging to an ancient cultivator. Xing Hongxian had discovered by chance that there was a cultivation technique recorded here. It was unfathomable. She mustered up the courage to cultivate it. Her cultivation level had improved significantly in the past year, but she was still far from completely mastering this cultivation technique. Xing Hongxian couldn't help but think of Han Ju. If he were here, he might be able to answer her questions. With these thoughts in mind, Xing Hongxian took out the heavenly puppet. Putting it next to her, she leaned her head against it and began to rest. Ever since she got the heavenly puppet, whenever she missed Han Ju, she would take it out. She often told the puppet what was on her mind. Because Han Ju's soul thought was hidden in the puppet, he was not worried that anything would happen to her. After a long while, Xing Hongxian sat up straight and prepared to continue cultivating. At this moment, footsteps came from outside the cave. Xing Hongxian immediately took out her equipment. A gray-robed old man with long hair and a youthful face walked in. Upon seeing the nervous Xing Hongxian, he smiled and said, "Don't worry, Junior. I'm also here to study the cultivation technique." "Here to comprehend the cultivation technique?" Xing Hongxian frowned in confusion. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Could it be that this person had already discovered this mountain wall before she came here? Ignoring Xing Hongxian, the gray-robed elder walked to the mountain wall and sat down. He stared at the words on the mountain wall and thought hard. Neither of them noticed the light in the eyes of the heavenly puppet. Inside the Khanate cave abode, Han Ju hesitated. Should he let the heavenly puppet attack? Ever since Xing Hongxian had fallen into the ancient mystic realm, he had kept an eye on her, fearing that something would happen to her. However, the gray-robed elder did not seem to have any ill intentions. Forget it. He decided to wait and see. It would be awkward if he couldn't defeat him. He continued to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, another 2 years passed. Xing Hongxian and the gray-robed elder were still studying the cultivation technique on the mountain wall. They did not disturb each other. Han Ju opened his eyes and checked his emails. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by the Lu family cultivators, X43, your disciple Su Qi was forced to marry into the Lu family. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a fiendish cultivator, X8, your good friend Chang Yue has learned a mystical power. Your good friend Huang Jihao was attacked by the Wei family cultivators, X288, your good friend Huang Jihao was severely injured and his life is hanging by a thread. He managed to escape. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck. The Lu family encountered a plague that is hard to come by in 1,000 years. The entire family perished. Your good friend Fairy Shi Xian had an epiphany during cultivation. Her cultivation has improved and her soul strength has increased greatly. Su Qi is too terrifying. Wherever he went, life perished. Han Ju was secretly shocked. It seemed like the providence of the immortal emperor's descendant was really strong. He could actually withstand such bad luck. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Platform. Poor Lu family. Also, what was going on with Huang Jihao? Could the Wei family be the mastermind behind Mo Fuzhou? The Wei family was amazing. They had actually managed to severely wound Huang Jihao. Since when was there such strength in the cultivation world of Great Yen? Han Ju immediately sent a voice transmission to Li Qingzi, who was recuperating on the main peak, asking about the Wei family. He immediately rushed to his cave abode. Elder Han, why are you asking about the Wei family? Li Qingzi asked nervously. Han Ju raised his eyebrows. Are they very strong? Li Qingzi replied, the Wei family is not strong, they only have one nascent soul ancestor. However, they have countless beauties who can topple cities and countries. The Wei family has all sorts of marriages and even business outside of the Great Yen. They have the most connections in the Great Yen cultivation world. Han Ju asked, is it possible that the Wei family is the mastermind? Li Qingzi was stunned when he heard that. He hesitated and said, I don't think so. The Wei family has no feud with the Mo family and is on good terms with the Jade Pure sect. He didn't have the confidence to continue. He felt that anyone could be the mastermind at this point. It's fine. Sect Master, rest well. If the enemy comes, I'll be here. Han Ju nodded. Li Qingzi nodded and left. Before leaving, he looked worried. Could it really be the Wei family? Han Ju didn't think too much. He took out the Book of Misfortune and habitually cursed Li Qianlong and Xiao Yi. Now, whenever he had the time, he would curse the pair. Cultivate, read emails, curse, cultivate, read emails, curse. This was Han Ju's daily routine. In the middle of a mountain range that was like an immortal realm, Xiao Yi sat in a bamboo forest. The surrounding heaven and earth spirit energy turned into mist and coiled around his body. Boom! Xiao Yi suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, his ugly face turning pale. He slumped. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Gritting his teeth, he cursed, "What's going on? Why is there always an issue?" For the past 10 years, for some reason, he had often encountered mental demons during his cultivation. They disturbed his cultivation and almost caused him to go berserk. At this rate, when would he recover? Xiao Yi was very depressed. Ever since he had gone to the Great Yen cultivation world, he had felt that nothing was going his way. It was very strange. He made up his mind to never go to the Great Yen cultivation world alone. As for Han Ju, although he hated him, he didn't have the strong urge to take revenge immediately. He had hated too many people in his life. Han Ju wasn't even ranked highly in his mind. So, he didn't even think that it was because of him. The more Xiao Yi thought about it, the more depressed he became. He could only take out a pill and recuperate first. In a magnificent palace sat dozens of cultivators. Li Qianlong and a black-robed cultivator sat at the head of the table. "Everyone, this is Senior Wei Yuan, a great cultivator at the Void Amalgamation Realm. He's willing to help us eliminate the Jade Pure sect." Li Qianlong introduced him to the cultivators present. Wei Yuan was the black-robed cultivator beside him. The sect master of the Raincoat sect was at the 9th level of the Soul Formation Realm. In other words, the Taoist 9 cauldrons of the Jade Pure sect is very likely to be at the 9th level of the Soul Formation Realm. The Wei family and I specially invited Senior Wei Yuan to uphold justice for us. As for Taoist 9 cauldrons, we've received news that he has indeed gone overseas. His sect is also facing trouble and has no time to care about the Jade Pure sect. Li Qianlong's words caused the cultivators present to look at each other. These cultivators were the sect masters or vice-sect masters of the righteous and demonic sections. They had come to discuss the invasion of the Jade Pure sect. When they heard that Wei Yuan was a Void Amalgamation Realm cultivator, they were not surprised. Instead, they were hesitant. If they took down the Jade Pure sect, would the Wei family become the next Jade Pure sect? They couldn't defeat a Void Amalgamation Realm cultivator. Li Qianlong took in everyone's expressions and continued, "Senior Wei Yuan has his own sect. This time, our Wei family has spent a lot of effort to invite him. After this matter is over, Senior Wei Yuan will leave. After the Jade Pure sect is overthrown, the Wei family only wants the Jade Pure sect's mystic realm and will not participate in the power struggles of the cultivation world." Upon hearing this, the expressions of the sect leaders eased. Li Qianlong was secretly pleased. "Deity-slaying elder, I want to see if you can stop a Void Amalgamation Realm cultivator." At this moment, the spirit energy in Li Qianlong's body suddenly surged as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. The sect masters were stunned. They stood up and looked around warily. 3 years later. 3 years later. Han Ju broke through to the 2nd level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. Xing Hongxian was still comprehending her cultivation technique and did not disturb the gray-robed elder. After the breakthrough, Han Ju habitually checked his emails. Your disciple Yang Tiandong became a demon king. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was attacked by righteous cultivators, X109. Your good friend Taoist 9 Cauldrons was attacked by an itinerant cultivator. Your disciple Su Qi has obtained a fortuitous encounter and has comprehended a mystical power. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a fiendish cultivator, X287. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was attacked by righteous cultivators, X302. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was severely injured and managed to escape. Your good friend Zhou Fan has fallen into the demonic path. Fuck. Another disciple had fallen to the demonic path. In fact, it was someone with connate providence. Han Ju was speechless. What's going on with this heavenly thunder peak? The peak master was a spy and the two core disciples had betrayed the sect. Mo Fuzhou and Zhou Fan's cultivation levels had both reached the 5th level of Golden Core Realm and above. They had advanced by leaps and bounds. He wondered what they had been through. Just as Han Ju was wondering, he suddenly sensed the chaotic heavenly dog's aura. The fat dog squatted at the entrance of the cave abode and did not say a word. It looked like it wanted to say something but hesitated. Han Ju asked, "What is it?" The chaotic heavenly dog immediately asked, "Master, can I go out and gain experience? I can't stay in seclusion anymore." Han Ju frowned. The chaotic heavenly dog waited uneasily. "You're a divine beast. Once your identity is exposed, it will easily attract the attention of others. At that time, it will be very difficult for me to save you," Han Ju said seriously. The source of this content is Light Novel World. The chaotic heavenly dog had a troublesome personality indeed. It was unlike the black hell chicken, which had already become as stable as Han Ju through his teachings. However, as a chaotic heavenly dog, it was difficult to convince it of its yearning for the outside world. "Master, don't worry. I'll definitely be careful. I won't cause trouble or expose my identity. I'll be back after I take a walk." Han Ju thought for a moment and said, "Then go." As a divine beast of providence, it was difficult for the chaotic heavenly dog to die. He could let it go out and suffer a beating. Only then would he understand how good it was to keep a low profile and cultivate by his side. Pleasantly surprised, the chaotic heavenly dog immediately rushed down the mountain. Before long, the black hell chicken came. Han Ju asked angrily, "What? You want to go out, too?" The black hell chicken trembled in fear. "How is that possible? I won't leave even if you beat me to death. I have to follow Master. It's too dangerous outside. That fat dog is finally gone. Master, can you teach me how to cultivate now?" Han Ju immediately stood up. Indeed, he should teach the black hell chicken some skills. The black hell chicken had an intrinsic cultivation technique, but it lacked spells and mystical powers. The current black hell chicken was the size of a pavilion. Seeing how big it was, Han Ju had an idea. He decided to impart, imitate heaven and earth, to it. He first briefly introduced the power of imitate heaven and earth. The black hell chicken was pleasantly surprised and thought to itself, "Damn fat dog, you didn't expect this, did you? Once you leave, I'll secretly learn mystical powers from my master. When you return, I'll see if I can beat you up." Just like that, Han Ju began to teach the black hell chicken the cultivation technique. In a bustling city, Su Chi walked on a street with stalls on both sides as cultivators came and went. After leaving Han Ju for so many years, he was no longer so childish. There was no smile on his face, and he gave off the feeling of someone who had experienced the vicissitudes of life. Su Chi looked around as he walked. After the destruction of the Lu family, he had emptied their fortune before escaping. Now, he had spirit stones and spirit-gathering pills in his storage ring. After so many difficulties, he still didn't forget the mission Han Ju gave him. Perhaps the outcome of the mission doesn't matter. What matters is the process. Su Chi thought silently. Thinking of all these years, he couldn't help but sigh. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Calm whenever he was on the verge of despair, he would always turn the situation around. He guessed that Han Ju was definitely protecting him secretly. That's right. That was definitely the case. Otherwise, how could he escape peril every time he fell into danger? Moreover, he remembered that Han Ju had said that he wanted to personally go to the demon-taming sect and flatten it. This senior was nurturing him to become a qualified disciple. Every time he thought of this, Su Qi's blood would boil. He was not alone. He would never be alone. In his heart, Han Ju was already his master. With master secretly protecting me, I have to complete my mission. Bang! Just as Su Qi was fantasizing, he accidentally bumped into someone. The other party immediately used his spirit energy to force him back. Su Qi took a few steps back and looked up to see a woman. He immediately apologized, sorry. The woman had a pretty face but a fiery temper. She immediately pointed at him and scolded, "You don't have eyes? I'll dig them out. Do you believe me?" So fierce. Su Qi shook his head and laughed. Not angry, he prepared to walk around the woman. However, seeing that he did not care, the woman became even more furious. She drew her sword and slashed at him. The sound of a sword being unsheathed alerted the nearby beasts waiting to be sold. A few of them immediately pounced on her, causing her to swing her sword in a panic. She ended up in a sorry state. When Su Qi saw this, he smiled silently. I knew it. Master is quietly helping me again. Warmth flowed through Su Qi's heart. Less than a year after the chaotic heavenly dog left. Under the lead of Li Qianlong and Wei Yuan, the 19 sects finally prepared to attack the Jade Pure sect. Follow new episodes on the light novel world. Com platform. Every sect brought tens or hundreds of disciples. All of them were at the 8th level of the Foundation establishment realm and above. In total, there were several thousand people. They did not come from all directions but gathered together as one group. They were worried that they would encounter a soul formation cultivator, especially the mysterious deity slaying elder, so they decided to follow behind Wei Yuan. Once Wei Yuan killed the deity slaying elder, they would be able to charge in. Wei Yuan walked in the air, his sleeves fluttering in the wind. He had the disposition of an immortal. Using his divine sense to scan the Jade Pure sect, he frowned slightly. There's only one soul formation cultivator in the Jade Pure sect, and he's severely injured. He glanced at Li Qianlong unhappily. That gaze seemed to ask, are you toying with me? Wei Yuan came all the way here, but in the end, it was to deal with an injured soul formation cultivator. Fortunately, before he came, he specially prepared for battle. All kinds of immortal equipment and talismans were prepared. In the end. That was all. Li Qianlong was pleasantly surprised when he heard that. He's injured. That's a good thing. His goal was to overthrow the Jade Pure sect, so he didn't care about anything else. Wei Yuan snorted unhappily. He was already here. He could only continue forward. At the same time, inside the Khanate cave abode, a notification appeared in front of Han Ju. The Jade Pure sect has been attacked by 19 righteous and demonic sections. You have the following choices: 1. Immediately run away. Stay away from trouble. You can obtain a numinous treasure. 2. Kill the enemies and protect the Jade Pure sect. You can obtain a spell manual. Han Ju didn't make a choice immediately. Instead, he cautiously used the simulation trial to detect the strongest person nearby. Wei Yuan, first level of the Void Amalgamation Realm, 9 Dragon Sect's Deputy Sect Master from the West Abyss State. First level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. Not bad. Han Ju entered the simulation trial and fought with him. Updated from Light Novel World. 3 seconds later, he opened his eyes and shook his head. He had the same thought as Wei Yuan. That was all. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.